and I'm left here sucking a choke. Bill Barr, 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 Barr. Bill Barr, 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 Barr. String us along, Mr. Bar Man. String us along forever. String us along for eternity, so we never rise up all together. John Brennan may be above the law, and Clapper may always run free, but we still might get McCabe, and we'll all be good slaves, because QAnon will always be there to tell us it's all okay. Just shut up and trust the plan. One day the whole swamp will be drained. QAnon man. QAnon, no, rise up, just get strung along. String us along, Mr. QAnon man. Just tell us to all trust the plan, because otherwise we might all resist and take things into our own hands.
Boom shakalaka! Boom shakalaka!
Rising up at a town hall meeting, dude asked a question, he took his chances. Joe got irate, then he wanted to do push-ups just to distract from his son, Hunter Biden. Nancy was asked why she hates Trump. She replied with passion and word fumbling. Impeachment interest has been sinking so fast, she must fight to add spice to this story.
It's the ire of the codgers who are losing the fight, getting cranky with the challenge of a question. As the words get so muddled deep within the brain,
I seriously think some of them should retire.
Oh, no. Are you kidding me? No, this. Oh, this can't be. Oh, oh, I see the problem.
What problem?
The problem with the pagination.
Oh, what was it?
Well, I'm not sure yet. Let me go back to make sure I'm right. Ah, shit. Oh, brother. Ah. Oh. God. Yeah. This is not good.
What? Oh, we're connected. Hold on.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody.
Oh, this is good. Oh, what happened? Let me see. Okay. We... All right, so people can hear us. Void Zero to the rescue. Very nice. Then I say...
Fat lady!
Better known as...
Fat bitch! Valkyrie!
It's
All right, everybody, it's that time once again for your bat signal to reverberate through the interwebs. That means you've got to go retweet the tweet, boost the toot. The No Agenda Show, episode 1198 is coming up next. Yes. Cornell. Yeah. Can you just give me a quick level? Oh, perfect. Okay, we're good. Hold on. That's all I needed.
Ready?
Yeah, hold on.
That's not what you need.
Yeah, that's exactly what I needed.
In the morning,
Oh,
I was hit in the mouth by a friend of mine several years ago.
Check
I
two.
won't mention their name
Okay.
because
Yeah.
they are either a douchebag
That was
or
good.
an anonymous donor.
That's good.
That's that.
We're ready. We're good to go.
Hit it.
Come on.
Hold on a second. Let me get this straight.
Need some energy, baby.
You specific. That was good. That was good energy.
No, it was like hit it. Hit it.
It was not.
It was too. I need like hit it.
Hit it.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, December 12th, 2019. This is your award-winning Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 1198.
This is No Agenda.
Reading 427 pages of IG reports so you don't have to, and broadcasting live from Opportunity Zone 33 in the frontier of Austin, Texas. Capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I don't have anything to say except I think we beat the Zephyr. I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
We did. We beat the Zephyr, even though we're like 20 minutes late.
Well, I sure haven't seen it go by.
Oh boy. Hey, it's been an interesting little week.
Well, first of all, before you start off with what I'm hoping that by interesting you mean the flight back. You came back. You just returned from a sojourn.
Yes, a sojourn.
In Holland.
Yes, for a service for my father.
Yes.
And so as you know, it was very busy. for booking flights, and it was a last minute thing. So I flew back coach. Well, and normally it's coach, but what the hell? Oh, sorry. Windows tried to restart on me. Stop. Okay. Where you say, where you say, okay, don't update, and then it opens up the settings window. Like, no, stop.
You have to update. Why don't you change the time?
You must update.
Maybe tomorrow.
You must update. So, I always try to get Economy Plus, or what is it?
Something with some leg room.
It's just a little leg room. So that was not available. I knew I was going to be in the middle seat of 3. So my seatmates were both my height, both over 6 feet tall. The one by the window was a pastor from Atlanta who was hitting the Jack Daniels hard. He's like, I just took 2 sleep aids. I'm going to have some Jack Daniels. Don't even let him wake me up for the food. And he's looking at his Bible. He's writing his sermon. He's just getting sloshed.
God.
Now, he had already been on a flight to Amsterdam from Ethiopia. So he was pretty ripe, shall we say.
Oh, yeah.
Then the guy on the other side, to the right of me, who I think was a dude named Ben.
My dad used to say all this.
Ripe, yeah. I think it was a dude named Ben. Big black guy. And he was from Nairobi. And I don't know what he had eaten in Nairobi, but it was, I was like, dude, sleep with your mouth closed. The stewardesses were even looking at me going like, oh, you poor man. You poor man. I was like, we'd all 3 have to get up if one of us had to go to the bathroom. It was just, falling over each other. And the armrests, they're so skinny. So I'm basically, these guys are asleep with a Hawkins smell out of his mouth, and the other guy's just a ripe mess. And my arm, so I can't even use the armrests. Anyway, yeah, look, it's and you laugh, and you just sit there and laugh at me. No, it's oh my goodness. So yeah, otherwise it was quite uneventful. But yeah, I will say, I no longer have the global entry system because it's expired, and I really don't have the $450.
It's a chip.
Yeah, well. And so
I thought it was just to protect, to make everything go faster and easier on everybody. Why should you shouldn't be paying for that? They should be giving it to you for free once they confirm who you are.
I think they actually are. The way it works when you arrive, and so I flew to Atlanta first, and from Atlanta, Austin. Then you arrive at Atlanta, and you have to go through customs and pick up your bag. And I see there's a line at the global entry, but there's no line. There's almost nobody at the regular slave kiosks. So I walk right up. It's the exact same process. It's exactly the same. And then you walk past the customs officer, and I was like, okay, nothing to declare. No, good. You're good. You walk in. I got my suitcase pretty quickly, and then you have to drop your suitcase off. And then this is usually the horrible part. So you've already flown for 9.5 hours. Then you have to go through TSA again. And I've got all my wires and everything. And they say, and something I typically will scoff at, there was one of these airport agents, so it's not a TSA agent, just an airport security person, saying, passports out, show your passport to the picture page. And, if there's anything I hate, it's being commandeered around by someone with zero authority. And so I'm just about to say something snide. She says, American passport, automatic pre-check. I'm like, oh, how wonderful. What a great service. I was just about to bitch at her. So you got a pre-check, nothing checked, boom, right through, nothing out of it. You can keep your belt on in your shoes. It was perfect. They don't seem to care about security. I don't know what it is.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was new.
So you were off. They figured, I guess somebody got a clue, and they said, well, you already went through security at the other end. And they're pretty,
of course. Yeah.
I'm sure it was decent.
The Netherlands.
You're an American, and you're less likely to blow yourself up, as it were. And so why should you be suffering? Make the rest of the world suffer.
Exactly.
Good for us.
Yeah. So I was pretty happy. Huh. And so I'm turned around, but obviously, and I think I was right that they did do all kinds of impeachment stuff on Monday, and then again on Wednesday. And then we had the IG report. So there was just lots of reading and lots of, watching. Let me just say something. When the Curry and Dvorak Consulting Group hand out, clearly useful information about this horrible TV show they've been putting on, which has been ruining ratings for everybody, we made it very clear that this is a problem. And so instead of contracting us and bringing us in and letting us spruce it up, they decide to do it themselves with clips. So they decide to play clips now during the hearing, there was no one manning the board properly. The clip started too early. They didn't switch to the video feed. The sound wasn't working. They should have brought us in.
Yeah, well, they didn't.
But you saw this,
I don't even know why
right?
they ran it. When it came to the Senate hearings, which were much more entertaining.
Yeah, I agree.
Because Lindsey Graham was very funny.
I'm sorry, his name from now on is Lindy.
Lindy Graham was
Lindy Graham
carrying it. It was doing a great job, and it was funnier.
Yeah, but Lindy has a problem. Lindy has a problem. And it came out on, he was doing the show with the original Money Honey, with Maria Bartiromo. And he says something in there, because, of course, this has to wrap up, then it has to go to the Senate. And Lindy will, I guess, will be running part of that, because he's the Intelligence Committee for the Senate, I think. He's Intelligence?
No. No, that's Burr.
Oh, so
he's the head of the Judicial, which is the one that
that's the one you want. Yeah, that's the one you want. So listen to what he said about this, and there's a couple of gotchas in here which lead me to believe he has a problem.
But here's what I'm going to do with the trial. I'm going to try to get it over as quickly as possible. Listen to what the House case, let them present their case. And if there's nothing new and dramatic, I would be ready to vote. And we can do all this other stuff through congressional oversight.
So are you saying you're not going to have people come down?
I am saying that I'm going to end this as quickly as I can for the good of the country. When 51 of us say we've heard enough, the trial is going to end. The president's going to be acquitted. He may want to call Schiff. He may want to call Hunter Biden. He may want to call Joe Biden. But here's my advice to the president. If the Senate is ready to vote and ready to acquit you, you should celebrate that. And we can look at this other stuff outside of impeachment.
Now, so notice what he's talking about here is all the Ukraine stuff, the Hunter Biden, the corruption, which I believe is much bigger than anyone's letting on. And here's Lindy saying, we'll just do all that stuff in oversight. Let's go right to it. You get acquitted. That's clearly what he wants. He doesn't want a big show trial.
Impeachment is tearing the country apart. I don't want to give it any more credibility than it deserves.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because, all of this time, yes, they're trying to rush this through. The Democrats want to get this done before the end of the year and before the Iowa caucuses and before we learn more about the IG report. And yet there seems to have been a wrecking ball thrown at our democracy with Adam Schiff getting people's phone records. What do you think about that? Adam Schiff getting the phone records of Devin Nunes, of John Solomon?
I think it's dangerous. What he did, he was, I think, looking at Rudy and found out Rudy made some calls to these folks.
So Rudy's not allowed to make these phone calls?
No, he certainly can. But here's what I would tell Adam Schiff. Do you really want to start calling other members of Republicans, members of Congress in oversight? Do you want me to call you to the Senate as part of Senate oversight? Where does this insanity?
Will you call
no,
him?
I will not.
Why?
Because I'm not going to participate in things I think will destroy the country. I'm not going to call a bunch of House members to come to the Senate as part of oversight. Now, if you're a House member and you participated, you're not above the law.
And you participated in what, Lindy? Participated in the corruption in Ukraine, in the money boomerang. Listen again, how he swallows it.
Senate as part of oversight. Now, if you're a House member and you participated, you're not above the law. But we're not going to turn the Senate into a circus. And I would tell Schiff, what you're doing is very dangerous for separation of powers.
Remember, Lindy was McCain's butt boy, the butt buddies, and they were both involved in Ukraine. They were both there. They know what's going on. And I have some other information and clips later that will maybe lead us down more of the path as to what actually happened. But I know that you got a lot of clips from different, from the IG hearing, I guess.
Yes, I thought the hearing was entertaining. I thought there's some good stuff. And then there was the revelation, which was not brought up until now, about the one lawyer they have. This, oh, God, I got to get his name. Well, he's Lindy mentions him. And we should probably go over that. This is the, and he's referred to in the IG report as lawyer number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I had, and he's pretty much, I would say, a bad actor if there ever was.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about this guy is they have a good article. I referenced this. Sorry, I referenced it on Twitter. I should have put it in the newsletter. An article in Heavy. There's some.
Yeah, I know. We know Heavy. Heavy.com. Yeah. Sure.
Heavy.com.
Heavy, baby.
They found out who he was, and they have a bunch of photos of him. He's a Michigan State alumni, graduated from the law school in 2007. He's a very young guy. He's a millennial, looks like it. Chubbed out quite a bit since he went to Washington, D.C. He was kind of skinny, and he looked, when he was thin and he just graduated, he was a dead ringer for John Oliver.
Oh, really?
Dead ringer.
Wow.
And the funny thing is, I'm thinking now, which is there's some genetic thing maybe that we're dealing with here with this kind of Trump hate, and some people genetically look very similar.
You're looking at you, Jerry Nadler? Is that what you're saying?
Well, Nadler's another example of something else. But so this guy, oh man, the chat room, give us the name of this guy.
You must address them as trolls, and then they will help you.
Trolls, give me a hand here with this guy's name. I can go look up my
lawyer number 2, trolls. Okay, keep going.
Okay, so he apparently, this guy was all in. They have some good tweets from him talking about how this is terrible, and I'm gonna, in fact, I have some of these tweets. Let's see if I can find my own. I tried to.
While you're looking for that, I just wanted to say, for me, the most important things for this show is not so much impeachment. Yeah, I mean, and it's good. It's fun. It's fun to talk to, but. Having read this report, when we agreed to the FISA Act, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, this was it was a very big deal. I'm old enough to remember because we were basically saying the Fourth Amendment doesn't count if it's about terrorism. So if we can prove, and there's all these strict rules, it's a secret court. I know we're not supposed to have secret courts, but it would never, ever, ever be abused. The process was set. That to me is what is just outrageous. When you read through what the FBI did,
they should shut this court down. And let me play this clip. IG report Graham on FIS.
I'm a pretty hawkish guy, but if the court doesn't take corrective action and do something about being manipulated and lied to, you will lose my support. I know a lot about what's going on out there to hurt us, and they're real threats, and they're real agents, and they're really bad actors out there. I'd hate to lose the ability of the FISA court to operate at a time probably when we need it the most. But after your report, I have serious concerns about whether the FISA court can continue unless there's fundamental reform. After your report, I think we need to rewrite the rules of how you start a counterintelligence investigation and the checks and balances that we need. Mr. Horowitz, for us to do justice to your report, we have to do more than try to shade this report one way or the other. We have to address the underlying problem of a system in the hands of a few bad people can do a lot of damage.
Well, I mean, it's on page 14 of the report, and, it's categorized, I think, chicken shittedly as 17 missteps, irregularities. No, they were lying to get a warrant to spy on Carter Page. Doesn't matter. An American citizen. It could have been me. And you have no recourse.
That's what's brought up on the investigation. But I remember it's Kevin Kleinsmith, Kleinesmith.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, trolls.
Yeah, good work. Here's an example of a back and forth with him and one of his partners on IM.
Okay.
FBI Attorney 2. I'm just devastated. This is, and by the way, I'll just mention, this is Kleinsmith. Kleinsmith says, I'm just devastated. I can't wait until I can leave today. This right after Trump got elected. I'm devastated. I can't wait until I can leave today.
Stop. Could you put a little acting into it?
I'm just devastated. I can't wait. I can't wait until I can leave today and just shut off the world for the next 4 days. FBI employee responds, why are you devastated? Another FBI employee responds, yes, I'm not watching TV for 4 years. And then Kleinsmith says, I just can't imagine the systematic disassembly of the progress we
have made. Oh, yeah.
We. This guy just got out of college. He just graduated. What are they teaching people at Michigan State?
Well, yeah.
I can't imagine the disassembly of the progress we made over the last 8 years. ACA is gone. Who knows if the rhetoric about deporting people, walls, and other crap is true. I honestly feel that there's going to be a lot more than gun issues, too. The crazies won finally. This is the Tea Party on steroids, and the GOP is going to be lost. They have to deal with an incumbent in 4 years. We have to fight this again.
Yeah.
Also, Pence is stupid.
Now, was that your editorializing, or was that in the message?
There.
That's in the messages. Okay. Well,
and then the other employees said, that's all true.
But again,
so these guys have been brainwashed by their colleges.
Yeah.
I mean, if this guy was older and did this, I would, I'd think a little less of him and a little. But I'm blaming the schools he went to. He was brainwashed coming out of Michigan State, of all places, which has issues. I mean, that Michigan State was the stronghold of where that guy was, the creepy doctor was that examined all the gymnasts. He was out of Michigan State. The school is somehow corrupt, and it's just like to see this from this guy, this Kleinsmith character, and then to see the article in Heavy about him with all the pictures of him wearing Michigan State gear,
right,
and goofing around with his kind of 6 o'clock hipster shadow. Yeah. It's very disturbing that these kids are out there and they got into positions of power where they could do what I'm going to talk about I'm not going to talk about, but Lindsey Graham's going to talk about it in the following clips. And I thought this is the worst. This is one of the worst things I've ever heard personally. So, okay, what we got here? Okay, let's start with IG report. Graham, Carter, page 1.
There's a guy named Kleinsmith who eventually alters an email from the CIA to the Department of Justice and FBI. And Mr. Horowitz and his team found this out, and how they did it, I will never know. I'm jumping ahead here. But when you read this report, what they find is that a lawyer supervising the FISA process at the FBI, according to Mr. Horowitz, doctored an email from the CIA to the FBI, and he's going to be referred for criminal prosecution. Why is that important? Carter Page.
What did he just do? Lindsey dropped a T.
Oh, by the way.
What?
He always did. I think a lot of Southerners dropped the T.
All right, well, let's continue with the clip.
To the FBI, and he's going to be referred for criminal prosecution. Why is that important? Carter Page, who's been on the receiving end of all this, the foundation to believe he was a foreign agent comes from a dossier that we'll talk about in a minute. In that dossier provided by Christopher Steele, and we'll talk about him in a minute, they claim that Carter Page meets with 3 people known to be Russians, Russian agents, people associated with Russia. Carter Page, while being wiretapped by his government, says, I don't know 2 of these people, and to this day, there's no proof that he ever met 2 of those 3. The 3rd person, he says, yeah, I met him. I told the CIA about my meeting because I was a source for the CIA.
Here's what gets me. You and I have been talking about this for as long as it's been going on. We've gone over all of this. We knew all this. It was in the original reports. It's taken, a year since. Wasn't that even in the Mueller report? I mean, this is so. In fact, even Andrea Mitchell thought it was egregious, and she's at NBC.
But there were very clear mistakes made by the FBI in the first approval and subsequent reapprovals, submissions for authorization by the FISA court, that special security judge who approves surveillance. And a particular point was something that is pretty egregious, which is the altering of a document to not inform the court and to not inform others that Carter Page, who was a former Trump campaign associate of the president's, was actually also at times a confidential source of the CIA. And to not share that information.
Hold on a second. Her term usage is unbelievable. She says to not inform.
Yeah.
What she should have said was mislead.
Yes, and she said it was a mistake.
And it wasn't a mistake. It was done on purpose.
Of course.
No. So who are these people covering up for? And why are they covering up for this Kleinsmith bozo?
John, I think it's so much bigger than we realize.
Well, it's definitely pretty big. And people when she says, the words she used were very carefully. She should have used mislead. And anyway, back to my clip.
Yes, I'm sorry. Well, that clip was over. Your clip ended.
Okay, well then we go to so we now know what happened was
Kleinsmith.
The guy was a CIA guy. He bitched and moaned. He says, "I'm a CIA. I work for the CIA. I met with this Russian guy, but I told the CIA about it, and so they, I was working with them."
No, they actually asked him to go. The guy had a lecture at a conference, and they exchanged cards, and that was the extent of it.
But the point is that he kept saying this, and then so the FBI got wind of it, and then eventually they said, well, geez, the CIA excuse is not going to help us here. And they told Kleinsmith, which I think maybe in the second clip he explains this, Kleinsmith's told to check it out.
Because
Sorry.
What?
No, I started the clip. I thought you were cueing.
Oh, okay. Play the clip.
Because I was a source for the CIA. So they would have you believe that Carter Page is working against our government, not with our government. So Carter Page in the summer of 2017 is trying to tell anybody and everybody, I was working with the CIA. I reported my contact with this person, and nobody believed him. The CIA had told the FBI it was true earlier, but it never made it through the system. Somebody got so rattled at the FBI, they asked Mr. Kleinsmith to check it out. He checks it out. He communicates with the CIA. Is Carter Page a source for you? In an email exchange, they say, yes, he is. What does Mr. Kleinsmith do? He alters the email to say, no, he's not. And you caught him. I don't know how you caught him, because you got to dig into this email chain. It would be like getting a lab report from the FBI. The fingerprints don't match, and the agent says they do. That's how bad this is.
Oh, nice analogy, Lindy. Good one. Yeah, but this is... I think that a lot of younger people, and I'm just going to play old guy because I might as well give into it, don't really realize what all of this means. And it's not being reported on to inform you really what's happening. But again, this was a huge exception to the Constitution to allow this to take place for surveillance with appropriate warrants. And just as he said, to have the FBI change that, I mean, even the report from Horowitz, the fact that Carter had worked with the CIA was redacted out. I mean, they're all protecting each other. It's really, it is disgusting and dangerous.
Oh, it's incredibly dangerous. And people like this Kleinsmith and the others that are currently coming out of these colleges right now, and I would put Berkeley
who,
in that
of course, are being recruited in the schools themselves. Let's be honest about it. They don't come. They don't come. No. The recruitment starts.
35,000 students at these schools. They're not all being recruited.
No,
I'm talking about the average student coming out and going into the workforce, not somebody that's recruited for the CIA, the FBI, or anybody else. and they come out with these ideas that, well, the right is whatever you do is right. You're just doing the right thing for the right reasons because what you think is reality, which was expressed in this guy's little commentary. And by the way, the thing that shows up a lot, and Kleinsmith was part of this, was the concept of the unwashed masses. There's a superiority complex that comes out of these schools where the kids come out thinking, Walmart. I could, when Strzok said it, he says, I went to a Walmart. I think I have it on one of these clips. I went to a Walmart and I could smell the
Trumpers. Yes.
And Kleinsmith did the same thing. He had some illusions about I think he called people pieces of shit who voted for Trump. This is the kind of arrogance that the schools are creating by separating, creating a separation between. These are not intellectuals coming out of these schools, but separating these people to making them think they're intellectuals from the hoi polloi.
Yeah.
Let's listen to some more clips.
Let me play one from Lindy, because Lindy called it, although the analogy is too old for anyone to care.
To your team, you were able to uncover and discover abuse of power I never believed would actually exist in 2019. How bad is it? It was as if J. Edgar Hoover came back to life.
Stole my dress. Exactly. People, you should look up J. Edgar Hoover. You might learn something.
Now, I got one clip here that's a series of Graham reading the page struck off back and forth. He doesn't do a great job of reading these because sometimes you lose track of who's talking, but it is pretty funny and it includes some of the stuff about the stinky voters, the stinky Republicans.
August 26, 2016. Just went to a Southern Virginia Walmart. I could smell the Trump support. People in charge. October 11, 2016. Currently fighting with Stu for the FISA. Stu was a lawyer who thought this thing was not on the up and up. Stood his ground until he couldn't stand it anymore. Eventually got run over. October the 19th. I'm all riled up. Trump is an effing idiot, is unable to provide a coherent answer. The New York Times probability numbers are dropping every day. I'm scared for our organization. November the 3rd, 2016. Oh my God. This is effing terrifying. Referencing an article entitled, A Victory by Trump Remains Possible. November the 9th, 2016. Are you ever going to give out your calendars? Some kind of depressing. Maybe it should be the first meeting of the secret society. November the 13th. I bought all the president's men. I figure I needed to brush up on Watergate. November the 13th, 2016. Finally, two pages away from finishing All the President's Men. Page to Strzok. Did you know the president resigns at the end? Strzok. What? God, that would be so lucky.
Now, hold on. A couple of things. One, he said it was Page and Strzok, and he didn't let us know. The last part was Page to Strzok, but which is Lisa Page. He says this would be so bad for our organization if Trump won, and he's in the FBI. What does that mean? It was never explained.
Well, what I find here's the problem that we've already passed. Really, clearly, what was going to be in this report and was known to certain people, directly FBI guys like Comey, and that the one line is in there that there was no evidence of bias, no written or testimonial evidence. Well, of course not. No one's going to say, "Hey, I'm biased, by the way," and that was used to jump the gun and flood the airwaves with, Comey had his op-ed ready to go. I don't even know if any of this registers at this point. I think they did a very good job of a protectionary measure. Everybody was on TV. Everybody was talking about how totally exonerated, all good. And now it's almost how stupid can you get, where the Democrats are saying, oh, read the report, just read the Mueller report. Now Republicans are going, read the report, read the Horowitz report. And guess what? Nobody except you and I read the report.
Well, I hope I don't have to guess. Now, the last comment I have on that particular clip was the one that really caught my attention, which was Lisa Page was reading all the president's men.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if this was a joke. It could have been.
That he resigns at the end, you mean?
Yeah. But she says, Nixon resigned at the end of all this. Now, it's easy to say, well, we know what happened. You were there because I was, it wasn't.
I remember it.
Yeah, but what's the age of Lisa Page? What's the age? It's like this character.
You mean they don't even have the basic history? Is that what you're?
Kleinsmith. They don't have because they're not taught history anymore. Right. They're taught gender studies. Again, I'm throwing this at the universities. She's stunned that Nixon resigned, and then Strzok says, "Oh, that's great. Maybe. Oh, that's terrific." As if he didn't know.
Born in 1980.
Lisa Page was born in 1980?
Yeah.
Okay, so Lisa Page so she had to be 1995 before she was a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
So she would have no knowledge of the Nixon.
No.
She would be surprised that he quit because she was never taught any of this in school. She's a lawyer.
No, she was taught that he was impeached. Trust me, that's what she was taught.
Yes, you're probably right.
Because most people think that. That's why I know it's out there. Oh, Nixon was impeached. Well, no, actually, when the articles came through and he lost the lawsuit.
Together.
No, he lost the lawsuit. He resigned. But that's not how it went down in history.
Well, the way it's taught.
It's kind of like, we all know.
If you're coming out, she graduated, she was 15 in 95, so she graduated probably from college around 2002.
Yeah.
Again, in the same group as this Kleinsmith guy. He graduated from, I think, initially from around 2002. In that era, he graduated from law school in 2007. So these people are all from the exact same era of stupid a-holes that the universities misled and brainwashed, and they got good jobs because they were probably pretty smart. They got straight A's in gender studies, and everything went swimmingly, but they were idiots. And besides being idiots, it's this arrogance about the general public. Oh, these people are so dumb.
Well, that's your Ivy League schools. That's your Ivy League schools where dumb people go with family connections, and they come out and they roll right into the workforce and get jobs like on CNN, like Cuomo. He went to Yale. That guy went to Yale. I think Page also Yale, maybe Harvard as well. These are not great schools anymore. I don't know if they ever were, but they're propaganda factories.
That's what it looks like. But the result is what we're seeing here. This is the untold story. Are these people, how did they get this way? How did Kleinsmith get this way? And he didn't go to the Ivy League schools. He went to Michigan State.
Right. Right. Well, then, you get what you pay for, I guess.
Well, he was higher up than the other ones. I mean, really.
All right,
hey, you look a lot like John Oliver. I think you're going places. So, anyway.
Yeah.
I find it distressing. So let's go to the Debunking the Dossier series of 3 clips. This is, again, what Lindsay's done here, Lindy, has done is do a good narrative. He presents a good narrative. He kind of loses track. When he does his...
He does a pretty good job. I agree.
He does a better job than Schiff.
Well, Schiff made some cool stuff up, which really stuck. I mean, let's be honest about it.
Well, yeah. Well, as a fiction writer, Schiff would
hold on. Before I just want to read. I just got to read this because it cracked me up. Just to give you an idea of how insane it's become in media land. This is Wired magazine. Now, I'm sure Wired is a bunch of lefties, a bunch of nut jobs, But when you... No, it has to be. So...
Well, by now it is, yeah.
I'll just read this, and who wrote this this fine piece? I can't find it. Monday's split-screen drama. As the House Judiciary Company weighed impeachment charges against President Trump, and as the Justice Department's Inspector General released a 476-page report on the FBI's handling of its 2016 investigation into Trump's campaign, made one truth of the modern world inescapable. The lies and obfuscations forwarded ad infinitum on Fox News pose a dangerous threat to the national security of the United States. That's how stupid this has become. Wired magazine. I used to be proud to be featured in Wired. Like, this is a cool magazine. And now they literally say, the facts of both dramas were clear to objective viewers. In the one instance, there's conclusive and surprisingly consistent evidence that President Trump pushed Ukraine to concoct dirt on a domestic political rival.
Wow, where did that come from?
That's from Shift. That's why I brought it up. Shift.
Oh, when he made it up,
He made it up. And now that is in Wired magazine. Who wrote this piece of Garrett Graff? Tell me who. Let's see.
The bigger question is, who's the editor of Wired magazine that would let that go through? That's clearly inaccurate.
Yeah. So I'm just making the point that this is a much bigger problem than just the universities. It's people who've taken...
Well, where do you think these people came from?
Silicon Valley.
No, these people at Wired magazine came from that same university system I'm bitching about.
You're right. They came from Harvard, I think. Didn't it start in Harvard? Wasn't it Boston? Massachusetts?
What, you talking about Wired? No, the origins of Wired have got nothing to do with the current iteration. Believe me.
Okay, believe you.
I mean, it's beside the point where it originated. It's the people that are there, staff it today. They all came from they're all college graduates, and they've all been through the same system that brought this Kleinsmith into existence. Where you go in there, you study gender studies, and you come out saying there's 72 genders, and there's nothing wrong with thinking that way. And whatever other nonsense you get, you don't get any real American history. And political science is just all about activism.
All right, let's move into the report debunking.
All right, start with clip one.
He's got an axe to grind. He's on the payroll of the opposing party. Take anything he says with a grain of salt. In January 2017, the FBI figures out who the subsource of the Steele dossier is. What you need to know, this is not what Steele found himself. This is what he gathered from one person. They finally found out who this one person is. They go talk to him in January 2017. 5 people interview the primary subsource, the guy that provided Steele with everything. And they showed him the dossier. Read pages 186 to 190. What does the Russian guy tell the FBI about the dossier? That Steele misstated or exaggerated the prime subsource's statements, that Trump's alleged sexual activities at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Moscow was rumor and speculation. He went on to say he heard it at a bar. And in the report, it suggests that a Western employee of the Ritz-Carlton confirmed this escapade by then private citizen Trump. When he read that, he says, that's not true. I never told Steele that somebody working for the Ritz-Carlton confirmed this. I heard it at a bar. Primary subsource stated that he never expected Steele to put the primary subsource's statements in reports or present them as facts. They were word of mouth and hearsay. Conversations had with friends over beers were statements made in jest that should be taken with a grain of salt. So in January 2017, the person who did all the assembling of the information for the now famous Steele dossier tells the FBI, I disavow everything in there.
Just so we don't fall into the same trap as the bad TV show these guys put on, I'm going to spruce up your clips with some impeachment interstitials.
I honestly never thought these words would come out of my mouth, but I don't know whether the current president of the United States was with prostitutes peeing on each other in Moscow in 2013. It's possible, but I don't know.
Just throwing that in there, just to spruce it up a bit. That's Comey.
Oh,
that's
brother.
Comey.
Well, then he did know. So
of
Comey
course.
was lying there.
Of course he's lying. That's why I'm throwing it in.
Yeah, good. Well, that worked. Good. Then continue.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you can do it with I'll do the next one when you're ready and do another clip.
Oh, we're done with that clip?
Yeah, we're done with that clip.
Okay, I kept them short.
Yeah.
The best part is coming. There's a part in here that is just I thought it was genius. I mean, at one hand, these guys are total douchebags, but on the other hand, there's a moment of genius, and I think it's in this clip.
Tells the FBI, I disavow everything in there. Now, what should happen? Time out. Let's reassess. Maybe we got this wrong. What would you hope to happen? That the FBI would slow down because this is the outcome determinative document that's just had a hole blown through it. They don't slow down. They use the document they now know to be a bunch of garbage twice more to get a warrant against Carter Page. I hope Carter Page gets a lawyer and sues the hell out of the Department of Justice and the FBI. 2 more warrants were obtained by the Department of Justice and the FBI after being told in January by the Russian guys all a bunch of bull. But it gets worse. Here's how they describe the interview to the court. The FBI found that the Russian-based subsource to be truthful and cooperative. Nothing about it. And oh, by the way, he said everything in there is a bunch of bull. You knew in January 2017, if there was no doubt before, you know by the guy who prepared it that he disavowed everything. It's not true. It's a grain of salt. You shouldn't. I didn't say all these things. Instead of stopping, they keep going. And instead of telling the court the truth, what they're required to do, they lie to the court.
Now, I love Lindy, man, but he'll do anything to not talk about anything important. I believe that there's something very important in here, and I think it was one of the greatest Buffalo jobs. I've never even considered this idea, and it's large part of the problem has to do with these rubber stamp judges that run the FISA courts. Right.
Is that, did you talk to the source? Yes, we talked to the source. And what can you tell me about that? He was truthful.
Just like Nancy Pelosi is prayerful.
And he was truthful and cooperative. Oh, okay, that's great.
Good to go.
And then you go on. But if the judge should have said, so he confirmed this report?
No, that's a given. That's part of the rules. Is the judge shouldn't even have to ask. That's part of the system.
It's assumed that you're not trying to trick the judge. Well, this assumption is bullcrap. They have to pull these FISA courts down. These things they're illegal.
Yeah, but terrorism.
And I don't believe this is one. This example's got to be only one out of 1,000 for all I know.
Oh, well, hopefully this will eventually come to light because remember, General Alexander of the NSA shut down access to the big database because there were all these jabronis, all these FBI consultants and contractors who were doing all of this. They were uncovering everything at the behest of Susan Powers, Rice, Condoleezza Rice, and the State Department.
No. That's Susan Rice, not Condoleezza Rice.
Yeah, Susan Rice. I'm sorry. So, Powers and Samantha Powers and Susan Rice. And it was a lot. I mean, all of this is, every country gets the government she deserves, and this is what we've got. An entremont from Jerry Nadler.
We cannot rely on an election to solve our problems.
That's right. Okay. Onward.
All right, you can wrap with the third chip.
Why do you think they kept going? Maybe because they were on a mission, not to protect Trump, but to protect us from Trump. That's what they were trying to protect, all of us smelly people from Donald Trump. That's what this is about. Whether you believe it or not, I believe it. And you know what? It could happen to y'all next time. There's some pretty passionate people on our side that I wouldn't want to be investigating any of you. So what happens next? They get a warrant twice more when they know it's a bunch of garbage. They lie to the court about the actual interview. I don't know what McCabe and Comey knew, but I'm dying to find out. And should they have known?
There were some... Yes?
I would just say this. I mean, there's some other good stuff in there. There's a couple of...
Well, I have some entertaining moments.
Mostly reiteration of what he brought up.
I have a couple of entertaining moments. You know, there was always a little bit of strife, and, you know, Nadler was trying to keep the order, and people are yapping and saying... You know,
Nadler wasn't at this hearing. He's in the congressional hearing.
No, this is the congressional hearing, sorry.
Yeah.
But it's still funny.
Will this witness be able to cross-examine Mr. Burke like he's being able to cross-examine the opposing witness? That's a point of inquiry.
Not shout out in the middle of testimony.
You need to call balls and strikes the right way. You don't interrupt either one of them, Mr. Chairman. You're questioner or the witness. Bang it harder. It still doesn't make the point that you're not doing it right.
Stop the hammering out there. Who's got a hammer? Where is it? Where's the hammer?
Produce that.
It was actually sent to me, produced. Joe DeGeneva showed up again.
Yes, I saw this.
Here it is, 434 pages of facts, interesting facts. But the denouement, the resolution, is pretty bad because Michael Horowitz does once again what he did with Strzok and Page and the email server investigation of Hillary Clinton. He will not pull the trigger on the FBI and senior DOJ officials. He says, with a straight face, that there was a legitimate predicate to run a counterintelligence investigation against the Trump campaign and Donald Trump. And you know what that's based on? A conversation between George Papadopoulos and a former Australian ambassador, Alexander Downer. And the information that Papadopoulos gave Downer was information that was fed to Papadopoulos by a CIA spy, Joseph Mifsud, to conclude, as Horowitz does, that there was a legitimate basis for a counterintelligence investigation against the president is ludicrous. It is an embarrassment to the Department of Justice. I don't know how Horowitz can hold his head high.
Let me follow up.
Yeah, because of course we did not get the thousands of sealed indictments. There is something else to point out here. The methodology of today's modern FBI, we follow this throughout the course of this show. What do? Because they all want to be heroes. They all want to be the FBI guy or whatever I don't know what it is, what's going on there, or if it's just pure legacy from J. Edgar Hoover. It's got to be some of that. But they'll find a semi-retarded guy who posted something on Twitter like ISIS, and then instead of doing something about it, they go, "Hey, this guy looks pretty retarded. I know. Let's give him some fake bombs and let's string him along for 3 months." It's the same thing.
It's usually 6 to 9 months.
But it's the same thing. All they want is to be the heroes and catch everybody, and they'll do whatever it takes to get the outcome that they want. And so it's not just the FISA, the courts. It's the entire FBI, and CIA is just as corrupt and rotten as well. There's embarrassments of intelligence agencies. But I'll tell you something else that really blew me away. Nancy Pelosi, she did the town hall on CNN after she announced the articles were approved to move ahead. And she talks about not impeaching, or she's actually asked a question, why didn't you impeach or vote to impeach George W. Bush when he clearly lied about Iraq? And when I heard this answer, and maybe she's just so frazzled, she's messing up the timeline, but it really disturbed me.
Speaker Pelosi, you resisted calls for the impeachment of President Bush in 2006 and President Trump following the Mueller report earlier this year. This time is different. Why did you oppose impeachment in the past? And what is your obligation to protect our democracy from the actions of our president now?
Thank you. Thank you for bringing up the question because when I became Speaker the first time, there was overwhelming call for me to impeach President Bush on the strength of the war in Iraq, which I vehemently opposed. And I said at other places, that was my wheelhouse. I was intelligence. I was the ranking member on the Intelligence Committee, even before I became part of the leadership of Gang of Four. So I knew there were no nuclear weapons in Iraq. It just wasn't there. They had to show us, they had to show the Gang of Four all the intelligence they had. The intelligence did not show that that was the case. So I knew it was a misrepresentation to the public. But
if she knew it was a misrepresentation to the public, why did she let us go to war? People died. Oh, I knew it was bullshit. I knew it right away. And then she even says this.
Having said that, it was in my view, not a ground for impeachment.
Not a ground for impeachment.
Wow.
Hundreds of thousands of people died who destroyed entire countries based upon a lie. She knew it. The Gang of Four knew it. But yet, it wasn't impeachable. Yeah, we knew they couldn't prove it, but whatevs. That's the arrogance that bothers me. Get him out. That's really, really horrible. And maybe her timeline is, maybe she's confused, but it sounds to me like she knew it going in.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly.
This is a different situation because, as other analysts might have it, this is the new era when you have AOC and the gang of whatever, the new Gang of Four, whatever they're called. The squad.
The squat.
The squat. They're all part of this.
Squat. That is the most misogynistic thing I've said today. The squat. Nice.
Now, and they see the writing on the wall, and you have these new people that are coming up, but again, I'll keep mentioning this Kleinsmith guy and the rest of the group, the Strux and Pages. There are all these older millennials that are uneducated for the most part, brainwashed into thinking a certain way about things. They really do think socialism is a great idea, and it's because they've been told that it was a great idea, and it's unbelievable that we haven't implemented it already. And capitalism's bad, and there's no reason for borders. I mean, there's all this litany of stuff that's coming down that everyone's saying, well, I mean, you have a point. It's pathetic. So, and I think Nancy's just fallen prey to the fact that things are changing in her party. The party is filled with these people. I mean, it's like that woman that kicked herself out of office. That I can't remember her name now. The one in Los Angeles that was shown naked, massaging her staff, head chief of staff of her office. She's in there naked, rubbing the guy, and then she has to quit. And then she's still floating around saying, "There's more to be done."
I want to bring it back to the core issue for me, because again, impeachment or not, honestly, I don't care. It's good show material one way or the other. What is a real problem for me personally, Adam Curry, in Texas, is the FISA process that could happen. That, what a great way to actually deplatform someone for real. And just imagine the stuff imagine, we thought we should check up on you, what you're talking to Pachenik about on the phone. What you don't put on your podcast. Just imagine what could be done to somebody.
I don't think you have to imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's actually going on.
Right. Yes.
But Jenny's not calling you and talking to you. I wouldn't talk to the guy. I mean, it's because I figure I've got, I always felt that I was in a long conversation with John Poindexter some years back, and I know the phone was being listened to.
So then another thing we'll talk about later is Afghanistan, because I think that's also, that's not being discussed at all. But I want to go back to Ukraine for just a second, because I believe that the reason this has been jumped on so ferociously is because there was a lot of money and everyone had their hand in the till, and it's the Bidens, it's Pelosi with her son, it's Kerry with his son, it's John Brennan, it's Lindy Hop Graham, it's McCain, of course the Kagans, the Noodlemans, and that goes right back to Hillary Clinton in the State Department. And the only outfit that seems to be doing something, and they have this reporter in Ukraine, is One America News. And I pulled two clips because they got an interview with Lutsenko. And Lutsenko is the prosecutor who was told, hey, you can't prosecute these people. This is the guy that Biden was yelling about. and they got an interview with him. His English is actually pretty good. And listen to what he says about what actually went down with Ukraine.
In an exclusive interview with One American News, Ukrainian former Prosecutor General Yuri Lutsenko says Yovanovitch perjured herself before Congress. And
Yovanovitch is the former ambassador, the ginger lady.
America, and he has the documents to prove it.
So, Mr. Lutsenko, you inherited Mr. Shokin's Prosecutor General office, and describe for us your first interaction with the U.S. Embassy in this position.
So everything was good, but then Yovanovitch visited me.
Ambassador Yovanovitch.
Ambassador Yovanovitch and Mr. Kent, they visited me for small negotiation or talkings.
Did they visit you in your office? Just curious.
Yes. Firstly, I visited her in her office, and then it was the second meeting, but the first in my office. They visited me. And we spoke normally, and she asked me to change some old deputies. But then she asked me about to close case of one person. Then I said, no, it is impossible. I couldn't close any case without investigation. So I took a piece of paper on my table and I write these three, not cases, but enemies: Kaczko, Leshchenko, Shabunin. Okay. Miss Ambassador, Madam Ambassador, let's continue your untouchable list. She asked me, why are you so serious? And then I destroyed this list. So while I am general prosecutor, no president, no ambassador could give me or could announce me such lists. That was the full story. So she ran immediately from the office, and my boy in near office doors asked me what you told her. His red face and very angry. I didn't agree to receive any orders to open or to close criminal cases.
It's pretty clear what he's saying there, and it corroborates, and just no one cares to even put this guy in the air except One American News, which is a pretty insignificant outfit. And there's a second part to this, which gets a little better.
Fast forward to Adam Schiff's impeachment inquiry, and Schiff called up Ambassador Yovanovitch to testify. Lutsenko says he was shocked to watch Yovanovitch's testimony when she said she never gave him such a list. Technically, says Lutsenko, no, she never gave him a list. The list still came from her. When Lutsenko found a case in which $7 billion went to the U.S., via possible money laundering to a firm called Franklin Templeton, he wanted help from the U.S. Justice Department to track down and retrieve this money. Ambassador Yovanovitch, says Lutsenko, played the obstructor.
I was once again shocked when Madame Yovanovitch told to members of the committee that Lutsenko asked me to organize his meeting with American Attorney General. But you know, gentlemen, that there is a procedure for this, she told. The procedure that Lutsenko must give us a short topic, what points he wants to discuss with American law enforcement bodies. And Yovanovitch said, and he never gave us such an information. I have bad news for Madame Yovanovitch. This is my letter, my deputy letter, to request for cooperation in investigation against the criminal organization of Yanukovych and regarding possible investments in the US-based mutual and other funds for the purpose of money laundering.
I know it's difficult for people to get into the accent, but this is a skill you should learn. I can see the trolls going, I don't understand what he's saying. You know what? Maybe slow down your playback. It's important that you listen and learn to listen to people with accents. People don't listen anymore. You need fucking subtitles for everything. $7 billion was sent through Franklin Templeton Investments to the fund, which everyone had an account at. And that was U.S. taxpayer money that went to Ukraine, back to the fund, and that's where everyone started putting their hand in the cookie jar. And that's what he wanted to come to Washington to talk to the president about. And that's when Yovanovitch, the ambassador, started blocking everything, and then the shitstorm started because someone's going to uncover this one way or the other. Maybe not in our lifetime, but it will come out.
Well, if you have to rely on One American News to even talk to this guy.
I know, it's so sad.
It's so pathetic.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, you read that little piece in Wired bitching about Fox. Fox doesn't even put this guy in. Fox is part of the same system.
Oh, yeah.
Of bull crap.
Oh, yeah. Massively. So that's why you need your best podcast in the universe, I guess.
Well, yeah, we try. We do our part, actually.
I think we do our part. We do as much as we can. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage and say in the morning to you, the man who put the C in courage itself, John C. Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. Also in the morning to all ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
In the morning to the trolls who are particularly trolly today, but that's okay. That's what you're there for. Martin JJ Martin JJ did actually know the lawyer's name, and so it's not all just trolls. That's noagendastream.com. When the stream is up and running, we had a few problems this morning, but typically it's 24/7 with a glitch here or there maybe. But you can hear some cool stuff, great shows, including Darren O, who does our pre-stream on both Thursday mornings. That's noagendastream.com. And also in the morning to Mike Riley, who brought us the artwork for episode 1197. We titled that one Fossil Fools. And this was the No Agenda Producer Rewards Program. It is the magical larcenous travel tip credit card for which you can use on any aircraft for unlimited beer, wine, and liquor. And he got the joke, and he turned it into artwork, and I don't think there was anything. We just liked it. That was the best one, wasn't it? Was there something else we were looking at the time?
I can't remember. There was a bunch of them, but
there were a lot. There were a lot.
Yeah.
But let me see. Ukraine cookies. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We both looked at it and went, that's the one. I think that's pretty clear. And I'd also like to do a quick promotion, a little PR for noagendasocial.com. We're seeing a lot of new people sign up and new people coming in and using it. Also, a lot of people from other servers, within the Mastodon universe are interacting. So something's going on. I don't know if we can speak of a tipping point, but it seems like we have more. We're taking
Down
over.
she goes.
We're taking over Twitter.
You're saying tipping point because it's going to crash.
No, man, it's decentralized. By the way, I should mention Jack Dorsey tweeted out. Let me see, where is it?
He tweeted out.
He tweeted out that he has a small team of people working on. Essentially, what he was talking about was federating
He was
Twitter.
confirming my worst fears.
I told you that it's federate or die. But what he's going to try and do, what I'm afraid of, is he's going to try to make his own protocol while there's one that's been out there for 10 years working quite fine. And so he's going to try and, do... Of
course he is.
Well,
then he's going to go with the distributed model.
Yeah, well...
Because they can't
handle the load. That's right.
That's all it is. You were bitching that you couldn't get Scott Adams feeds.
That's right. Yeah, because
I only get one out of.
Yeah.
Well, no, I probably get 2 out of 3 of your feeds.
I'm going to give you the whole load today.
Yeah, see, that's what I want from Twitter. The whole load.
Yeah, well, you're not going to get the whole load from Twitter.
You're right. I think you're really right. They just can't handle it. For sure. There was something. Wait. So now we're talking about it. Well, this actually, before we get to the donations, this actually works for advertising or for a donation segment. Now, screw it. I'll do it later. Let's just do this. I'm sorry. It was about.
All right, we do have a few people to thank: associate executive and executive producer. I do want to mention though the Den Haag meeting sent me a card.
Oh, how nice!
With a chocolate C and a sausage, and that was, I think, largely organized by Janet.
Yeah, the chocolate letter is a big deal. in the Netherlands, and you hopefully get one that is your initial.
Well, my middle initial.
Yeah, you got the C.
They could riff on it.
Yeah, exactly.
They also sent a copy of the poem. Janet says the poem, and you know this poem. I can't read it, but I'll want to read you the translation.
Okay.
The saint was thinking of what to give you.
Yes, it's typically a rhyming poem. Yes,
and it's a very cliched poem.
It goes like this: De zin zat te denken wat die Johnny zou schenken. And that's how it goes.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
It's also typical to write a poem to someone at Sinterklaas holiday.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
You write poems?
Yes. Well, here's how it works. It usually within families, you put it's like a secret Santa. So you put your names into the hat. You pull the name out, and then everyone has already pre-published their wish list, and there's always a cap, so €10 or whatever it is. And then you're supposed to make what they call a surprise, a surprise. And that means you get creative. Typically, it involves boxes filled with confetti and then molasses, and then the present is inside the molasses in a plastic bag with the confetti, and it's hilarious. Unless it's being done in your house.
Like a hoot.
Unless it's being
Especially
done in your
like cleaning
house.
up.
Yeah, that's...
Also, they included a sausage because it's a good-shaped box, and I thought you'd actually like a handcrafted sausage.
Is it from the Hema? Is it a Hema-Wurst?
I don't have it in front of me, so I can't read off the label.
It's vacuum-packed, and it's about the size of a horse penis. It's really big.
Well, it's not like a salami big.
No. But it's curled.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
You got to boil.
It's sealed, air sealed. It's probably made. What's it made from? Probably pork meat.
Pork, but you boil the bag.
Yeah, it's probably. By the way, it was probably illegal to send that to me.
Yes, but you boil the bag, and so that's how you heat it up, and then you want to slice it and have a little bit of mustard with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you want Dijon mustard though.
The sausage has a skin on it.
Yeah. You eat that. Just cut right through it. Eat it. Shut up and eat it. Don't you remember the war?
Well, that's not the way I was planning on, but I'll consider that possibility. Anyway, Sir Luke, there's Johnny, and there's a whole bunch of people that Joni or Johnny, I can't tell. And there's about 20 people that signed this. They had pretty good, everyone from the meetup, and a lot of Dutch commentary. Yes. I want to thank them for that little
very nice
Christmas gift.
Very nice.
Onward with our executive and associate executive and executive producers for a show.
I'm already seeing the error of my ways.
What happened?
Well, we're going to start with...
Ladies and gentlemen, I present the Grand Duke of the Pacific Northwest, Sir Dwayne Melanson.
That's right, everybody. Here he is. He comes in with the top donation.
Indeed, as he tends to do. I have to make one quick change. Sir Dwayne Melanson, Grand Duke of the Pacific Northwest in Tigard, Oregon, 333.33. We haven't had anything above that much recently, I'm noticing. ITM, gents. I had a great time at the Oregon Local 33 meetup last Friday. We did a white elephant thing with donations, and here's my contribution to our locals' knighthood fund. Tim can explain if needed. Keep up the great work, and thank you for your courage. Karma to all producers, and a fear is freedom, plus AOC, please, that combo that you developed.
Who here is ready for the revolution? You pigs in human clothing!
You've got karma.
Sandy. I love me some Sandy OC.
Sir Mad Hatter, 333.33. He's the Mad Hatter Baron of Connecticut and Knight of the Fifth Column Gentleman. It has been many months since my last donation. The only recently that I have returned to the show after a brief man overboard recession. It's not at all to do with the quality or value of the show, but rather that I needed to decompress. As my wonderful wife, Dame Jamie, mentioned, I need job karma. And I'm asking for that with this donation. As for which version of Jobs Karma, I will defer to what you believe to be the best one. While I cannot go into great detail, it will have to suffice it to say that I was and partially still am involved with one of the current Democratic presidential candidates.
Oh.
as a dude named Ben, you can maybe our show scrambles the brains of somebody working on that side of the fence.
Wow, yeah, it must be rough.
Yeah, well, or not.
Here it is. As a dude named Ben, you can only imagine what that entails. I need a change of pace desperately. Oh,
he wants to get out.
You're not going to see it through? Ah, come on.
Oh, see it
come
through.
On.
Anyway, should I succeed in finding a new opportunity, I can elaborate on the behind-the-scenes realities of campaign life. Okay, well, let's then get a new job for sure if you can give us some background. As always, it shows a great source of information about what's going on in M5M land. Keep up with the excellent work. Dame Jamie, I love you. My requested clips, Jobs Karma, if not played already. Maiden Charlotte Station Identifier.
What is?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, what is Maiden Charlotte Station Identifier?
Maiden Charlotte Station Identifier.
Maiden Charlotte. So Maiden Charlotte, but is it this?
This is the No Agenda Show with Adam Curry and John C. Dvorak, brought to you by the Value for Value model. Don't be a douchebag.
Is that it? I don't know if her name is Charlotte, but that's the only station identifiers I got.
I don't know. We have a couple. I thought we had more than that, but Oreos are more addictive than cocaine. And for the end of the show, would you play the shape-shifting Jews?
Actually, I'll play a little bit of it now.
Oreos are just as addictive as cocaine.
Just a quickie.
Roll up for the magical shape-shifting Jews. Step right this way. Roll up for the shape-shifting Jews.
Jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Weird. Mark Aragon in Albuquerque, New Mexico. That's all we have for executive producers. Slow day. 23456 for Mark in Albuquerque. In the morning, email to follow. Need to send off a donation because I keep putting it off. Gonna send a ground level report on what I'm seeing with my millennial comrades, but needed to send this off before I procrastinate anymore. Okay, well, when we get your report, did you get out a couple of things? Let's see what I have.
Oh, you take a look while I play his.
Oh, I do. I did get his. It's right here on the top of my pile of printouts.
Oh.
It's too long to read.
Yeah,
it's definitely War and Peace, but I'll get you some of it. I was hit in the mouth by a friend of mine several years ago. I won't mention their names because they're either a douchebag or an anonymous donor that's been at Barron level, but he's an OTG guy. He's an OTG kind of guy that would never admit to donating. I'm 30 years old, so I'm in a millennial age group, and I've been a real estate broker for 10 years now. I'm essentially a salesperson. I realized I needed to donate when Adam mentioned that the best salespeople wear brown shoes.
It's a fact.
You never said best. You just said they all do.
Well, I think I said if you're hiring a sales guy or gal, make sure they wear brown shoes.
So I'm always looking for stilettos. And on the gals, even better stilettos.
Hey-o.
I'm essentially a sailor, blah, blah, blah. I wear brown shoes. So I shrugged that off, but I looked down and realized I was wearing brown shoes. Then I thought about it, and all of my dress shoes are brown.
It's a fact, man. Just
in the same 5 minutes, I ended up seeing a truck with ham radio save lives, a bumper sticker. And I knew I was going to stop being a douchebag.
Oh man, we had to work him hard, but we made it happen.
They always cave. In my donation note, I mentioned having an update on millennials, and I thought, and my thoughts are sort of in line with the weather throwback that Adam played from the 70s.
The Leonard Nimoy.
Nimoy thing, yeah. With Leonard Nimoy. We have similar problems. We're not any different. We just have enormous platforms to bitch and moan about them. The people pushing the narrative of having problems that the boomers created just have the loudest voices. We're a small by the way, in on this idea that the boomers are getting blamed for everything out of the blue. We're a small operation. I think Trump.
Well, of course.
Small operation, but our main clients are millennials getting their first homes and boomers downsizing into one-story homes. Also, our website for folks in Albuquerque is nmhomies.com.
NM Homies?
Yeah, she says NM Homes was taken by a boomer. Anyways, which I had to say because that's what he put.
It's getting worse.
Anyways, I think it's always been common for
NM Homies. We're your friends in real estate. In fact, we hope to be closer than friends. We want to be your homies. This must be working. I love it. We want to be your homies. Nice. Okay. Good work.
All right. Well, I'm going to summarize here. And the main problem he sees across the board is the inability to look objectively and with a little humor at the situations and complex debates.
Exactly.
Since I'm in real estate and it's being female dominated, it's a female dominated business, I'm a big proponent of equal right feminism. And I know that there's a ton of women out there that can outwork just about anybody. That's probably known to every guy.
I'm sure that's true.
Most guys have run into those women.
Yes.
Anyways, he says
again, yes.
I get into a debate with a young lady at a party about a wage gap argument, and I had the actually, this is okay. I'm gonna have to read this now.
You got to walk away from that story. Walk away from it.
This is a good story. A wage gap argument. I had the common arguments that there's a difference in preference in terms of professionals, and a lot of these polls and studies aren't the most reliable, but I respect women a lot, and the things are better than they've ever been. She wouldn't even agree with me that things are better now for women than they've ever been. Essentially, it was... Did I go off?
No, that was it. I was just doing a little sound hit.
For women that have ever been. Essentially, it was like arguing with a wall. To diffuse the argument that began to have quite a few onlookers, a friend suggested pouring shots for everyone to take. So I said, "Hey, I'll stop arguing. Will you take a peace shot with me?" So she said, "Yes, of course."
But let me guess.
She only poured me half a shot. So I had to start shouting, "See? That's exactly why women make half as much as men."
Ooh.
Well, I thought it was funny. She threw her phone on the ground and stormed out.
And did he pick up her phone and run after her?
I don't know. That's the ends there.
That's a good one, man.
Yeah. Right. It's just waiting for the opening. It was good. That was quick on your feet. I admire that in a male.
Here's your karma.
You've got karma.
Thanks for the support. That was funny. Good one.
Did we play the jobs karma, the correct jobs karma for a guy working for the Democrats?
Yeah, he said jobs. Yeah, jobs karma. I played Nancy.
Okay. Onward to
Sir
Finch in Portland, Portlandia.
Portland.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Portland. De-douching.
You've been de-douched.
I have to get rid of the douche from time to time. Nussbaum Akbar makes me laugh every time. I don't know why. Donald Trump doesn't trust China. China is a asshole. Boom shaka. I guess these are his clip list.
Yeah.
Boom shakalaka. Girl. Heavy dose of Trump Pelosi jobs karma for me and the wifey. Okay, you asked for it. In particular, an MSL medical science liaison job for the wifey.
Oh, okay.
I don't think she appreciates being called the wifey, by the way.
You know, there's two things I have never liked. One is wifey. The other one is kiddo. I hear so many people...
Kiddo? Really?
The kiddos.
Hey, kiddo?
No. It's not like that. It's the kiddos.
The kiddos for the children.
Yeah, the children, the kid. And I was like, why would you say kiddos? It just sounds like, I don't know. It's like it feels distant. And maybe it's just me, but I've heard this so many. That is just you in that regard. But the wifey is a bit diminutive. The birthday shout out, by the way, he's got for his sister-in-law, Nicole. We're going to have that in there. Yeah. My wife told me that she'll shoot me if I ever say the wife. Okay. Right on.
Donald Trump don't trust China. China is asshole.
Boom shakalaka. Boom shakalaka.
Jobs.
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 And jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Alrighty then.
All right, we have to keep track of these various ones, and that one should number these so we know which one to refer to.
Well, I mean,
that particular one, I think, is the one that doesn't work.
Now, hold on, listen. I'm gonna tell you what we have. We have 4. There's 4 jobs karmas, and I'm gonna play them so we all know what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, ready? 1 is our standard, the one that has always worked.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
Okay. Then number 2 is Trump. Well, listen.
Jobs, jobs, jobs.
All right. Number 3 is also Trump.
Jobs, jobs, jobs.
I think that could be a winner. And then the 4th one is what you just heard.
Jobs,
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 Steve and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
Okay, so it's a 1, 2, 3, or 4. I've numbered them. Mission accomplished.
Wow. All on the fly. You did it live.
No hammering.
Okay, onward to Quintessa Guerrero, $212.12. My family is in need of some good old no agenda karma for my mama. She has been living with undiagnosed chronic pain for 3 years. Ugh. Enough is enough. I'm pregnant with her first granddaughter due in June, and my sister is getting married in May.
All right. Okay. So it'd be great if she could be pain-free, and we're going to give it a shot, and we do that with a twist of goat.
You've got karma.
That'll help.
And finally, Anonymous comes in with $201.16. Please de-douche.
You've been de-douched.
Needs jobs karma for his wife and F cancer for his grandmother. Thank you for doing what y'all do.
Okay, our pleasure.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
And that concludes our list of executive and associate executive producers for show 1198, 2 shows away from show 1200, which will be a special show. And we do have, we'll tease the second list of people with somebody from Zondam.
We're teasing the donation segment now?
I just wanted to say Zondam.
Thank you to our executive producers and associate executive producers. You know how it works. These are actual credits because it's your podcast. Everybody who contributes to this podcast is a producer, and that's pretty much everybody who listens. Although there's the financial part is a very small portion, but we have so much help in our value for value system, and this is what really keeps us going. And thank you, of course, to especially people like Nussbaum, man, who've been supporting us for so long. And always in the executive producer category. These credits can be used anywhere that credits are recognized. I have heard, strangely enough, that besides putting them on your LinkedIn profile, Indeed.com also apparently works if you put it in there. I don't know anything about this, but I guess it's some job site. If you're looking for work, that's a place to put it. But also if you just want to look cool, I think LinkedIn is better just for looking cool. You know, people go searching for it like, oh, he's an executive producer. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Oh. And, of course, you can participate in the production of the next show. That will be on Sunday. All you have to do is go to
Dvorak.org/NA.
And, of course, now you can look really smart by knowing what really happens in those hearings.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
I'm a flawed human being.
Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave.
I play that thing that I was going to do during the segment because it just kind of made sense. It's Susan Wojcicki. Susan Wojcicki. She's the
YouTube girl, right?
YouTube. Yeah, well, she's Sergei's ex-wife's sister. And she was on, I think it was think it was a gaming conference or something. As everyone's pissed about the deplatforming and how we making money and how we not making money. And
I'm taking the side of it. These people, they own these platforms. They run the platform. They're giving you free server space. There's one clip on YouTube recently I saw, 10-hour long clip of Hillary laughing.
Well, so of course the issue with
costs money.
The issue with the gamers, well, they have a lot of problems, and the main problem that they have is they don't give a crap about creators. In fact, calling someone who is actually creative a creator, in my mind, is just insulting. Yeah,
I want to stop you there. There's also another term called creatives.
That's also insulting within an age. I never liked it. I
brought this up I went to one of the Adobe. They do this big event in LA every year, and I went to one a couple of years ago. And they kept using this term constantly.
You creatives.
You create the creatives want this, the creatives want that, and they're always talking about them like a third party, like just a bunch, just like peasants. I thought it was diminutive. I thought it was like calling people like, it's like a Marxist kind of category.
Yeah, lepers.
Not the bourgeoisie.
Yes.
And so I actually asked, I won't say who they are, but I asked two very high-end artists that would qualify as creatives, and they didn't bother them. So it only bothers people who aren't creatives, apparently.
I guess that's what it is. Well, I don't want to be called a creator, but anyway, the creators, YouTube does not give a crap about you, as will be evidenced in this clip. But what I also thought was interesting is that they really have no way. They recently you have to now start marking your content. Is it for children? Is it 13 and under? Is it family safe? Is there cursing? Is there violence? They're putting all of that on you, creators, because they can't actually come up with any AI, artificial intelligence, that can actually figure out what's in your videos.
Mortal Kombat was a big release earlier this year. Are we as gamers just expected to just play Minecraft and Fortnite, which has gun violence?
See, the problem is that they're kind of demonetizing violent video games, which is pretty much every successful video game. So they're all up in arms because YouTube is running away from them. But is it really YouTube? Oh, gee, creators.
By the way, like where does that line exist?
Yeah. So first of all, I want to say that I looked at the stats overall for gaming and for gamers, and I say that in general. And I understand the concerns, and I'm going to get into that and answer more. Like, looking at the stats,
you'll miss it.
Gamers are actually in a really good position. Okay. And so YouTube as a platform, we act on behalf of our advertisers. And
did you hear that, creators? YouTube as a platform, we react on behalf of our advertisers, not you, schmuck.
Gamers are actually in a really good position. Okay. And so YouTube as a platform, we act on behalf of our advertisers, and advertisers come in all different types of preferences in terms of the type of content they want to be advertising on. You have some advertisers who say we only want to be on the most safe type of content,
brand safe,
available, and then we have other advertisers who say we'll be on like any type of content as long as the fans love it, like we'll be there. And so we have a broad range. I don't want to say all advertisers are the same. And so what we've done is we've tried to...
John, she's going to do it for another minute, so we get it. She's annoying to listen to.
Enable options for our advertisers to figure out, depending upon who they are, options for them to advertise with the right set of partners. Mm-hmm. And I think what we see is that most of our advertisers, just looking again at the stats, are advertising and interested in gaming. And so I looked at what our advertisers are opting out of. You know, they opt out of issues like sensitive subjects. Sometimes, like, you know, that would be an example of something that's like high up on the list. Gaming is not actually high up on the list. The other thing that we have done that has been really successful is we've enabled creators to self-certify themselves.
This is my favorite. Since we can't figure out what kind of horrible crap you're putting together, self-certify is now the word for compliance.
Which means that we give you the opportunity for you to tell us
What an opportunity! Thank you, YouTube!
What's in your video. So how much profanity is in your video? Is there violence in your video? And what we've found is that way, you know, again, it's not like a free pass in any way, but we're not going to make any mistakes. We're not going to think you have violence when you don't really have violence, because you're going to tell us what's in that video and we're going to trust you, or at least we're going to, you know,
she fucked up there because I mean we have systems that can check this.
Make sure that our systems say the same thing, and if they, you know, and we have an opportunity to for creators to, like, we check, right, if there's a difference, like we check and see, like, why is there a difference?
Yeah, why don't you all move to BitChute or Mastodon or anywhere but YouTube, because you're going to be disappointed.
This woman, through, you know, you get lucky in some of these companies. If I'm not mistaken, this woman is worth almost $500 million.
Oh yeah. She was
I'm just saying, any guys out there who want to, like, exploit some rich woman. I was going to say rich chick, but I pulled back from that, because she's not a chick.
She's not a chickie, man.
She's a rich woman that probably will squander her money. You might as well help her out
on dudes, on young dudes. Well, while we're in this segment, I think there's been a hack at Ring. I got 3 stories today, all similar. The last one came in. I couldn't even clip it. I figured I'd just play it straight from the video, which of course is only, I hear now it's only one channel. It sounds like. Okay, and that's not worth it. Here's the report.
A couple in suburban Atlanta tonight says the only reason they bought one of these Ring security cameras 3 weeks ago was to keep an eye on the dog.
Wake up.
But on Monday night, while the girlfriend was sleeping in...
By the way, in the video, you see the night shot and the person laying in bed, and the hackers are coming in and just starting to talk through your camera.
Bed, she heard a strange voice coming from the bedroom camera.
I can see you in the bed. Come on, wake the f*** up.
What you're hearing is the voice of someone who had hacked into their device and may have used a stolen password. A digital prowler she recorded with her cell phone.
I see the blue light come on, and so I'm texting my boyfriend saying, you know, why are you watching? He's like, what are you talking about?
Which is also another interesting little side note.
The couple doesn't want to be identified and spoke with our partner, WSB TV in Atlanta.
Ring should have the safety precautions already set in place where you never have to worry about it.
Police here are investigating, and in a statement, Ring says this is no way connected to a breach or compromise of their security, and they're encouraging customers to change their passwords regularly.
And so I really love how people are outraged. Well, Ring should take care of that, man. How can they allow that to happen? This one was the best. This family is fantastic.
It's Sunday night. Cooking and catching up with their oldest son through FaceTime was on this Cape Coral couple's agenda.
He's triggering the alarm.
And all of a sudden, we heard the siren.
Until the safety measure was turned against them. Someone was using it to peer into the Browns' private life.
What's going on, my main man, Shaq? It's your boy, Chance on Knowles. Welcome to the Knowles Cast. What's going on?
The hacker starts talking directly to the husband and wife.
He's doing a podcast. He says, welcome to the Knowles Cast, which is their name. The guy's doing a podcast on their Ring system in their house.
The hacker starts talking directly to the husband and wife about their son.
Wait, so did your child come out black or like kind of like light skin? I don't know.
I should mention it's a mixed race family.
What? Nothing.
Who never appears on this 3-minute recording. But Josephine Brown believes the person manipulating their camera was watching for longer than he made known.
But they've been watching us. because that's the only way you know I had a son, and the only way you know what he looks like.
The hacker focuses only on making racial comments.
Is your kid a baboon, like the monkey?
Spewing from their security camera over and over again.
Wait, does your child look like an Oreo?
It's very hurtful because, I mean, my son is biracial, and the comments he made.
Hey, she's upset about the biracial racist comments. How about the fact that you've been hacked, lady? The guy's been looking at you.
Was really hurtful.
Fed up with the hateful invasion of privacy.
Can you bring like a web browser up on your phone and then type in the website that I tell you? Good dog.
The camera batteries are ripped out.
Hey, go to Noel.
The Browns called Ring immediately. The company did not respond to my requests, but did tell the family, quote, the email address and password of one of your external accounts was exposed in a data breach. Ring believes someone used that information to gain access into their account. Josephine says she is constantly changing the Wi-Fi password and believes the company needs to step up.
Fixing it, put more security stuff on there, do more updates on the cameras, making sure everything, runs the way it's supposed to, but I don't know.
No, you don't know, lady, because this is your life. Welcome to the future. Someone got a hold, I think they got a hold of the Ring database, but it doesn't really matter. People are so stupid. If your password and your username or email address is stolen from somewhere, there's a high likelihood you've used the same password on everything else you own. And all you have to do is get the Ring app, and then you enter in your email, your password, and boom, you're in. I mean, this is, but there's 3 reports today with the exact same thing happening. So that
has to be the tip of the iceberg.
Yes, and for Ring to say,
because who else is going to embarrass themselves with these reports?
Yeah, this is not a native ad. Believe me, this is not the good stuff.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
who is going to come forward and say, "Hey, I got hacked. I'm an idiot."
Yeah,
I mean, and then to play all this, abusive material.
But now there is
really is dumb, but this has been predictable for decades.
Oh yes,
with the smart refrigerator and the coffee pot, and look, and there's an ad right now on
you know what they say about Internet of Things, IoT, where the S stands for security. Yeah, I thought that was a good one too. But it's there is one opportunity here for us. Think about how cool.
Are you thinking of a money-making idea?
No, I'm thinking about broadcasting our podcast through everybody's ring doorbell. That's what I want. The guy's like, this is a good idea. I could do a podcast like the old Soviet style. It's all of a sudden we come on
point to point.
Hello, everybody. It's time for the Ring Doorbell podcast. Wake up, everybody. Good morning, Ring Doorbell.
Nah, it's just the tip of the iceberg is going to be. I am loving it.
This is the same as my favorite commercial on TV now. They're pushing, Amazon's pushing the Alexa car. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
What is the device called?
Alexa? Yeah.
No, the Echo, or what's it called?
It's the Echo. Yeah, it's the Echo.
Yeah, the Echo. Mm-hmm. Echo Car, I think is the name.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have this ad, and this guy, so just a dubious as this guy driving a big Mercedes or something, and he says, Alexa, stop my podcast, which I thought was at least a plus.
Yeah.
Stop my podcast and turn on the lights at home.
Oh, he's doing this for his girlfriend or his wife.
Well, they make you think it's for him. He's coming home.
Right.
I mean, it was set up that way. So
turn on the sexy music playlist, Alexa.
Turn on the sexy music. Turn on the lights. Turn on the heat. Turn up the heat. Yeah. And then you see just a shot of the door opening. You think it's him, but it's actually his girlfriend, his wife, or someone. And she walks in and she calls him and says, Alexa, call Jimmy, whoever his name was. And he says, yeah, thanks for turning on everything. You're sweet. And I said, okay. And then he gets out of his car and goes into work. He's going into work on swing shift or something.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is like, I'm thinking, hey, Alexa, turn the heat up to 120. Flash the lights for the next half hour.
The worst part is in that first clip is that the girl immediately calls her boyfriend, says, why are you spying on me? Believe me.
Yeah, I know
everybody's doing this. That's why especially people it started with the teddy bear cam and the nanny cam and they're spying on each other, spying on you. Oh, it's so funny.
Well, it doesn't come out well.
No,
there's no scenario.
No, it won't end well at all.
Where this works out.
No.
If software is involved, and specifically, this never works out. It's not safe.
No, and all software has bugs, and the Internet of Things, it's historically insecure, and it's made in China, so who knows what else is going on. People are, John, we're just yelling at the clouds, my friend. Everybody said, "Oh, I know that, but I don't care." You
bastard clouds.
I caught another commercial which was jarring for a number of reasons.
At Embark, we know dog people put their dogs first, even in the rain, even at 5 a.m. Dog people share the bed, and the blankets, and the pillows. Dog people do bath time, because joy is often muddy and messy. Of all the things we do for the health and happiness of our dogs, Embark's dog DNA test may be the most important. Get it this holiday season.
So she said important, and it's a dog DNA test. Get it this holiday season.
Yeah, I saw this too. In fact, it's one of the many things I saw that I didn't clip, but it included important.
Important. And it's a dog DNA test.
Yeah. Yeah, the dog DNA test, so you know that your dog... It's a jip, it's a ripoff. It's a scam.
Well, this is, of course...
dogs are people, too.
You heard it, because you got dog people. Dogs are people, too. And this came up with Sandy. Sandy was doing a little thing. Sandy OC. And that's why she talks. And Sandy was talking about maternity leave. And as a good millennial, she brought it right there where we needed her to go.
Miss Gressler, you said earlier that you...
By the way, she has the most offensive... She learned this from some other... all the douchebags do it in Congress. But this... Yeah, let me see if I can... so, John, are you interested in the molecular biology of the frog? And you start to answer...
No, I'm not really.
No, you'd answer differently, but it doesn't matter because she'll say, so that I'll take that as a no. I'll take that as a no. So no, you're not. I'll take that as a no. You'll hear it.
Miss Gressler, you said earlier that you don't believe in a minimum wage. Is that correct? You believe the market should decide?
I don't think that we should take a job opportunity away from somebody if they're willing to work at a particular wage that the government is not allowing them to.
So no, you don't believe in a minimum wage. I take it you don't believe in health care as a right either. Is that correct?
I believe that we should help provide access to health care.
Okay. Do you believe employers should offer health care to every employee that they have?
I think that as part of a benefits package, they should determine what is the best way and what do the workers want.
Okay, so no, you don't believe it should be uniformly offered.
I think it should be what workers want and what employers.
Okay, so the answer is no. What is the most common length of parental or paid family leave that you have seen?
In general, it's like 6 to 8 weeks, but it really depends, and there's not a great there's not a great sample that tells us.
6 weeks. Do we know how long puppies are allowed to stay with their mothers after a dog has given birth?
I don't.
8 weeks.
Wow.
So the market has decided that women and people who give birth deserve less time with their children than a dog. And I think that at its core, has shown that the market has failed to treat people with dignity and with basic respect. And so when that happens, I think it's our job as the public to redefine the rules of society and to treat people who give birth with the dignity that they deserve.
I disagree. I think it's been very successful. This is exactly what we want. We treat dogs better than people. It's a fact. We've been tracking this.
That was the strangest clip I think I've heard for a while.
Yes.
That's Ocasio-Cortez dog clip. Back to your point about saying I'll take that as a no. We did have a clip once where somebody said yes, and the congressperson said I'll take that as a no. and I can't remember which person it was, but it was one of these left-leaning Congress women.
Well,
I'll take that as a no. Well, no, I said yes. Anyway, okay.
I don't take. I'm seeing if I can find it, but that's a tough one.
There's no way of properly labeling that clip.
No.
So
okay,
I did get a. Somebody's got a new podcast. Just switch a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, since we're bringing this up, we kind of brought it up with the anecdote about the woman pouring a half a shot, getting paid less. I have a couple of disturbing clips.
Ooh, love that.
So if you remember Foxy Noxie, the Amanda Knox or whatever her name is, that she's was arrested in Italy, went 4 years in jail for something she didn't do, and I'm pretty sure she didn't do it, murdering her boyfriend in Italy, and it was some crazy story. It's a long story. People can look it up. She has a podcast now on real crime.
A very popular topic in the podcast space.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it turns out to be about 10 of these podcasts, and they're all very popular. They're not.
There's more. Oh, the true crime podcast is very big. It's big business, and people are turning it into Netflix shows. It's if you want to go true crime. In fact, there's now lawsuits by magazines, newspapers, and investigative journalists against podcasts who are using their work uncredited. That's how big this is.
That doesn't surprise me in the least.
Yep.
We credit our stuff. It all started with Serial.
Yeah.
And kind of that triggered everyone thinks Serial's was a podcast, but it was really more of a recording of. It's pretty much of a.
It's a podcast. No, it's a podcast. It's a podcast.
Well, so Foxy, who you'd think would probably not call herself that.
No, you'd think that not. You try to tone it down a bit.
Yeah. So she brought in, this is a special event in front of a large audience. And I have to assume from the response of the audience, that's a large audience of women. And to go back to the women theme. Now, I'm very disturbed by these two, these two clips. So she brought on Lorena Bobbitt.
who cut off her husband's penis.
Yeah, John Bobbitt.
And threw it away.
Threw it in the ditch.
Threw it out the car window.
Yeah, something like that. And
I know, believe me, I know.
So now she brings her on her podcast, and this is we get to hear the response of the audience. This is Foxy Noxie Lorena Bobbitt 1.
Her name is Lorena Gallo, but you probably know her by her former married name, Lorena Bobbitt. In 1993, after suffering years of domestic violence and sexual abuse by her then husband, John, she did something that shocked us all. She made worldwide headlines, and that turned her into a target for abuse, harassment, and the casual cruelty of most of us, especially comedians. And started this long overdue conversation about marital rape and abuse. She cut off his dick.
I knew it was coming.
So the crowd goes wild.
Nuts. Oh, yeah.
This is, by the way, a violent act. It's in condoning violence and is cheered. There's a hypocrisy here that is a very deep level.
Extremely
and it's very disturbing if people listen to this. And you'd think Foxy Noxie would have enough, after being falsely imprisoned, would have a little more sympathy toward this sort of corruption, which is what this is, as far as I'm concerned. This is a corrupt audience. But let's listen to when she actually introduces her. And brings her on stage.
Because she has had the courage to reclaim her identity, her narrative, her legacy, and she's become an advocate for other battered women. So I am honored to share the stage with her. So please help me in welcoming Lorena Gallo. All right, get that microphone.
I'm sitting on it.
Yes. So, how does it feel to be sharing the stage with Foxy Noxy?
Oh, brother. I hate my invention. Podcasting is horrible. What have we? By the way, that whole Lorena Bobbitt was not so cut and dry, to coin a phrase, as it seems. There was a lot of stuff going on. I lived in Manhattan at the time. I was on Z100 in the morning. So it was not as simple as it sounds. But to hear women hooting and hollering like that, but at the same time, to not even bat an eye that Harvey Weinstein, the most douchiest of all douchebag a-holes, is going to get off scot-free, no admission of guilt, by just paying $25 million to the...
No, he's not even paying it.
Who's paying it?
Oh, well, I have a clip.
Oh, my God. I mean, I just want to say, women, I can speak for both of us. We know Harvey Weinstein's. We know this is the lowest of all low scum. This guy is a total dick, douche, knuckle, barf bag. And yet everyone's going to opt for the money. So the guy, and he'll be doing movies again because of this. Because no one's pressing charges. No one wants to follow through. We'll take the money. What do you mean it's not true?
You play the clip. Weinstein update.
Okay, let's see.
On the same day, Harvey Weinstein used a walker to enter the court where he's facing criminal charges, a potential $25 million settlement with the more than 30 actresses and other accusers who filed civil suits against the former movie producer, according to the New York Times. The Times saying Weinstein would not admit any wrongdoing, and he wouldn't pay accusers, but insurance companies for his former studio, which filed for bankruptcy, would make the payout.
He'll be able to basically walk away from almost all of those cases without paying any of his own money to those victims.
A quarter of the overall settlement, according to the Times, would pay lawyers for Weinstein and his former company. Accuser Zoe Brock tells NBC News, "This settlement breaks my heart. I have signed it only because I have explored every other legal option and at this point have found no alternative." The advocacy group Time's Up also panning the deal as too little. If this is the best the survivors could get, the system is broken.
There are also women who are relieved, who feel like, listen, there was, as these legal negotiations went on and the pot of money that was going to go towards them got smaller and smaller, there were concerns of whether or not there would be any civil settlement reached.
The New York Times reports several high-profile accusers would not be part of the settlement. Weinstein's attorneys declined to comment on the potential settlement. He has pleaded not guilty to all criminal charges. Earlier today, a judge raised his bail after criminal prosecutors said he tampered with his electronic ankle monitor more than 50 times. A Weinstein attorney told the criminal court he's having back surgery tomorrow, and they insist he'll show up for trial on January 6th.
So, Kate, this is a settlement in the works, meaning it's not a done deal?
It's not a done deal yet. The New York Times reporting that it would have to be approved by judges, and with some lawyers for accusers already objecting, it's possible it could fall apart.
Oh, okay. But still, people want the money.
Yeah, they're all signing off on the money, which again brings up a number of issues that are unpleasant to discuss.
Not for me, and especially not if we do it properly.
And now it's time for your sexual harassment update.
See, it's a segment now, and we're talking as producers, so we can say these things. But I don't like it. I don't like the idea that he does, if he gets off with just the money, he just gets away with it.
There are still criminal cases. This has nothing to do with that.
Okay, we'll see. So,
my money is that he's not going to be doing any more movies.
Oh, I'll take that bet. He will definitely return to the movie. This is America, baby. Come back, kid. Anybody. Nixon is a good guy all of a sudden. Come on, now, please. You can be. No, America loves a good comeback story. Matt Lauer will also come back. They're all going to come back. It takes years. There's always a way, and people forget because people don't remember stuff. They just forget. But for some
I'm not arguing that point.
Yeah, for some actual uncomfortable talk, there's a big story which The Verge of all publications broke, and it kind of flows into Noodle Boy and the millennial workforce. And I think there's a real problem that I hadn't realized, but now that I've read this story, I'm talking specifically about the CEO of Away, the luggage company. Have you followed this story?
I never heard of the luggage.
So the Away company, they're like a specialty direct-to-consumer luggage brand. And it's actually quite affordable. What is luggage really? It's a $5 shell that they stencil out in China, throw a liner in, and then you put a snazzy label on it. You sell it for $150. It's a great business. So these two women who were buyers, I think they were in one of the big retail companies. They learned a lot about how this process works, and they started this company, Away. And Away has stores. You can order it online, of course, but they have stores. And their whole thing is, we're all about the customer. The product is secondary. It's all about the customer experience. And they have all these bull crap words, customer experience, professional, they're just rife with all of these terms.
Sure.
And,
they're pouring it on thick is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, but they really try to keep this culture of their company. We're all about the customer. Well, anyway, she was kicked out.
Small batch.
She was kicked. No. She was kicked out of her own firm because of the abusive nature of the company and herself, her own communication. And this is a 3-part series that The Verge did. And as I'm reading it, there's and I think this is where the main problem stems from. All company communication is done in Slack. So there's no email. You're not allowed to DM. Everything is done on Slack channels. And for those who don't know it, it's basically like a message board where you can create separate topic rooms. And a lot of people probably have this in their organization. And because of this, everything the workforce, which is really young, it's a millennial workforce, everything the workforce gets has no context. It's just text. So people are really put off when the CEO, Steph Corey is her name, she said the following. So there's suitcases going out that have the wrong initials or improper initials for the customer, and so this is a problem. So she's bitching on Slack. And she says, if whoever is doing these luggage tags is brain dead enough to package up and send a tag that clearly has incomplete letters, it seems extremely unlikely to me that a retraining on standard operating procedures is going to be sufficient set of next steps for us to ensure that 100% of our customers are getting perfect luggage tags. Now, when you read that, you can hear it being said as, if whoever is doing these luggage tags is brain dead enough, or if whoever is doing these luggage tags is brain dead enough to package them up, so you have no context, no voice. But believe me, the kids were getting depressed. They started their own special Slack channel, a private Slack called #Hot Topics, which was filled with LGBTQ folks. I'm citing the article, and people of color. And this woman who helped break this case, she was working there, was relieved to find she wasn't the only one who felt uncomfortable with Away's purported mission and company culture. And so what were they discussing in this secret room? I'm quoting, this person did this not woke thing. Those people did something insensitive. In other words, it was a safe space where marginalized employees could vent. So as I'm reading this, I'm like, oh my God, it's a bunch of weenie children who are triggered by the boss saying, hey, you brain dead.
Yeah, do your job.
Do your job. We got to get to, because that's our culture. But as I continued to read through it and I just went deeper and deeper, here's what's happening. And it's very dangerous for the young kids. They're so, and oh, by the way, it's like work on New Year's Day, work on Christmas Eve. We have to, everyone has to work. I'm going to be here, in the Slack. Well, everybody send a picture of you working from home. Here's mine, and she's there on her bed with a mask on, a facial mask. And, because we're all doing it. We're all working hard. I think what has happened is because of the instantaneous nature of communication and email and now Slack, it is so normal for people to work outside of normal working hours that they have turned into unwitting slaves of all of these companies. And this is why you're allowed to bring your dog to work. This is why you have food on the premises. This is why you have a hairdresser. These companies, which really are pieces of shit companies with shit product, and it's a throwaway item when you think about it. You can get a luggage anywhere. They're working these kids to death and controlling them with this digital ecosystem which keeps you engaged 24 hours a day, and they're burning out and they're making no money. And I have to say, I kind of feel bad for the noodle kids, because this is not just this one company. This is happening everywhere. It is expected that you work 24 hours a day. You're always on the Slack or or maybe it's the Google Docs or whatever the hell your company uses, whatever infrastructure. And I think it's really, it's harmful. And even though they're not prepared to work hard to start off with, but they're really being enslaved with cheap gadgets, with cheap little trinkets. And was it just today came in that the CEO of Ford is now letting people bring dogs to work in a bid to lure tech talent. I think this needs to be looked at. Kids are being abused by the technology and these toxic cultures, which are not toxic for the way people discuss, but they're not prepared. It's a text-based company. Does that make any sense?
Well, in the context of the Noodle Boy, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I'm just trying to digest it myself, because the missing element here is these, and you said it more than once. You must have said it, repeated yourself 2 or 3 times. These kids are not prepared to work. And you can just stop right there. They're not prepared to work in this environment. They're not prepared to work under these circumstances. They don't like this boss. I found it seems like the boss is just a normal boss, if you ask me. But I have been working in work environments with adults, with grown men and women, since I was in high school, and probably before that when I was a paper boy.
Yeah, me too.
And so I've always been working all my life in one way or another, and I've found I can work in these environments. And okay. But if I'm completely like just some kid fresh out of school, I don't know what to expect or what. JC works for this very unique company now that he's the old man, and he talks about, like, we're gonna take off the next couple of days. This Thanksgiving week. There's no reason to be working this week. We're not going to get any business done. We get plenty of business done when we get back. Pretty much did not toe the line with his younger supervisors, the owners of the company, saying we don't need to be working this week, so let's all go home.
And how'd that go over?
It went over fine.
Well,
because they all said, "Oh, we can do that."
Okay, well, right.
They were stunned by this idea.
Well, okay, so imagine you come out of school, you don't know crap. We've already established that at the beginning of this show. You have no idea. You don't have history. You've been taught all the wrong things. You have a debt. You need to start paying it off. You realize that there is no job for what you studied in, political science, whatever it may be, gender studies. But you do understand how to use Slack. You understand how to use the digital communication. You're already enslaved to the phone, and then you're given a few other cheap trinkets, but really no big salary, and then you're worked to death. And then you get triggered by someone saying, "Hey, over this brain dead person." That was actually the first example as used in this article and reported on seriously by The Verge as a toxic culture. Are you kidding me? So I feel bad because not only are they ill-prepared.
It's encouraged by the writers of they have probably a toxic culture at The Verge.
Yeah, there's that. I wonder who wrote it. I don't know. It just struck me. It was a big story, and I completely missed it. But as I started to read into it, like, this is actually very sad.
It's probably not a toxic culture.
Not at all. It's just it's just
the way it is. You're working for a company. Yeah. The boss says, "Hey, you guys are screwing up. Stop it." Exactly. And what am I going to do? The boss scolded me.
But I see this in many companies. I see this around town. There are companies and the young kids, and when they have a place to communicate that is like the company place, and they can create a little secret chat room, that's where the toxicity actually occurs. Because they're all like, this guy sucks. That guy said, it triggered me with this, triggered me. I think that this is a very bad trend. Let me put it that way. And it's being reported on as these poor kids. And then the woman got kicked out of her own company.
Yeah, just for being a normal boss.
Kind of.
Oh, I'd love to do an interview with her.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen, people. Now, make it happen, people. Oh, you said make it happen. This is terrible. I'm triggered. What is he trying to say? Make it happen. Is that something wrong with me?
Okay.
I think here's what really needs discussing. I think what really needs discussing is what can you do about it? What can you do to make it so that you don't have these secret rooms and all the rest of it? It's like just what's his name said. One of the Strucker paid. No, it was this other guy. The lawyer, he says, it's time for the secret society, or let's form a secret society.
What we've had today are all examples of the absolute downside of technology. The Strzok and Page text messages. They never thought about that. They never thought, this will come out somewhere. It'll be used.
This will come out and bite me in the ass.
Right. So now we have the Slack thing. We have the Ring thing. I mean, all of this stuff on top of each other. And even the BBC reported on members of child abuse WhatsApp group arrested in 11 countries. Yeah, what are you doing on WhatsApp communicating about things? It's a head slapper to me. It's just, we are going down the tubes. We're going down the tubes with all of this stuff. Post the wrong thing on social media, get fired. There needs to be a preparedness for people as to what, and you've been a big proponent of this, as to what your digital footprint is, what you're doing, what you're leaving behind, what you're signing up to, what you're getting involved in. I don't feel necessarily compelled to be the teacher, but I am noticing that this is a trend, and it's a trend within companies, with young people, and it's not working out well for these companies. There's HR issues everywhere.
Well, the companies are suffering.
Yes.
And the problem is you have a bunch of dipshits working for you. Mm-hmm. You can't call them out properly. You don't know how to do it, which I think is the big problem.
Yes.
You hire these boneheads. They come in. They're all, they know how to use Word. They know all the tech stuff, and they've never worked a job in their life. But you can't really blame them for that because there's no jobs available. But they're all social justice warriors underneath it all, and their real expertise is in gender studies. I know I'm beating that joke to death.
No,
but
it's a fact. It's true.
And that's true.
And they have a debt.
A bunch of dipshit employees, and they're all working behind the scenes to really hurt your company. Yeah. And this article hurt the company, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Got the CEO fired. You got to keep these people from getting in the company in the first place. Let them work for a volunteer organization. I have no sympathy for these kids.
Well, I actually found myself sympathizing a bit with him.
I mean, I know you do. You have more than I do. That's for sure.
You don't have to say that with such an ugly tone in your voice. That's not necessary. I'm triggered. I'm going to my Slack.
Sure. You're triggered. I'm going
to my Slack safe space. I'm going into my safe space. Leave me alone, Dvorak. Anyway, just bringing it up.
You know, they used to call it tough love. Used to be a big deal.
Yep.
Now it's like, no, nobody even mentions that anymore. You can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do tough love.
You can't go up to an employee and say, you suck, you stink.
Have you ever done that? You know what? Do you remember what? Wait.
Time,
remember what I used to do?
When I was the editor of InfoWorld, like there was this writer, and she came in, and
you would have been in jail if this had happened.
I'd been in jail nowadays. But so I don't know what I said to her, but I told her I was deconstructing one of her pieces, and I said, you know, the problem with this article is this, and I criticized her. And I wasn't going to fire her. I wasn't a mark against her. She was a good writer, generally speaking. But there was this piece I didn't like. So the boss comes in later and says, "What did you do to what's her name?" She comes into my office crying. I said, "I didn't do anything."
Do you remember what I did in San Francisco when we had Mevio?
Yeah.
You and I would be chatting. We'd be standing downstairs.
Oh, this is you and the clock.
Yeah. And it's like 10 o'clock, and people are coming in. I said, we start at 8:30 here. To everyone
you were
who came
outside scolding these guys as they came in late.
I said,
we started, is pretty much the whole company.
Yeah, I said we started 8:30. Yeah, you couldn't do that these days.
No,
I'd be kicked out for abusiveness.
You're too abusive. That was very abusive of you.
Yes, that's my story.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
And yes, we do have a few people to thank for show 1198. 1198 is the show number. Bruce starts us off in Anthem, Arizona with $163.84. 2 weeks to knighthood, he says.
Oh, nice.
Now interesting. Hold on a second. Oh, okay, good. I'm glad he came in. I want to send a message to Bruce. Bruce, you are sending your monies to the legacy account.
Oh.
And I wish you would go to Dvorak.org/NA and find an appropriate box to click and go that way. Because I don't know how you're coming in on the old account. There's some old links, I believe, that are out there from 10 years ago, and people still click on them. I don't know. I can't find them. It'd just be easier for everybody.
Well, while we're on that topic, I hate to bring it up, but what happened to our guy from Australia who sent his donation through that new banking system? He's not on the spreadsheet again.
That's my fault.
Okay, but let's do that because he's been waiting for a month now.
Yeah, it did come through.
Mm-hmm.
And I meant to send it in with the check notices to Eric, but it came in at the wrong part of the week, and I forgot about it.
Because someone else used the same system. I'm looking for the note now. I don't know.
It's a screwball system, but it works. It works very well. It comes in from Australia.
Yeah, it came in as a company name and not a.
Oh no, that's the same guy.
No, there was someone else who did this.
No, I think it's the same guy.
Okay.
I will resolve this, and it'll be on the next show. I promised him it'll be on this show.
Yes.
And then I realized now that you mentioned it,
well done.
I forgot all about it as usual.
Well done.
But it's $300 plus, and he is an associate executive. It's okay. The next show is going to be Sunday. It'll be less people. He'll stand out more like a sore thumb. But yes, and I wanted to get with him to discuss how this mechanism works, because we're looking for these payment mechanisms that actually work with the bank. Yeah. And this one does. But it doesn't come in with his name. That's what it came in with, just the name of the company that did the transfer or something. I don't know. Anyway, we'll get it fixed eventually. Everything gets fixed eventually. Matt Davidson, meanwhile, is helping fix the show with $146.89, and he's in Hamlin, New York. And he had something to do with my 12-12-12 thing. He comes in with this crazy number. And he said, I had to read this. He says 12 times 12 times 12, 12.12 times 12. Anyway, he goes on. He says, too many synchronicities of repeating 11 ratio or 1 to 11 every day for weeks. I have to donate. Thank you for I don't know how that works. Anyway, he needs a goat karma at the end. We'll give it to him. Yeah, Alex Perkins, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he's got a birthday coming up, I believe.
Can we just reiterate for everybody that the jingles, you can go to Dvorak.org/NA and you can read exactly how it works. Executive producers and associate executive producers are $200 and $300 respectively. And yes, that's where we get jingles played. We don't, just for length of the show, don't take jingle requests underneath that. Not to be mean, but it's just too much. Somehow people haven't figured this one out.
No, they figure it out and they come in late. Noob come in. People don't pay attention. I had a guy write me, "Hey, how do I get my ring?" Now instead, and by the way, when somebody does this, I'm not critical. I don't care.
No, of course
because there's
not.
nothing you can do.
No.
But on every single show, right after you do the announcements of all the nights,
me
on every single show, without exception, I do not remember a show where you didn't tell people.
Unless we don't have nights like today, no nightings. But if there's a nighting,
you always you tell the night how to get the ring.
Yeah.
And it's a very simple process. noagendanation.com/rings. And you will find a form to fill out, and you fill it out. And you've repeated this hundreds of times.
Thousands.
But yet, nobody hears it.
I know.
But that's just the way it is. That's why we have to, in fact, that's one of the things about our show. That's why we have to repeat old news stories. That's why we bring in old clips. Because people forget from months and months ago, because it's not their job. It's not the job of the public.
Well, here's
to
another.
Remember everything said on this show.
Here's another one. And this is from Alex from Kurrajong in New South Wales. Just following up on a donation I made via PayPal back on the 23rd of November. I made a donation of 52 Australian dollars, which worked out to be $34. I am yet to hear the donation be read out during the second donation segment. I wasn't going to bother, but my good mate who hit me in the mouth encouraged me to follow up. I've been listening for a while, and this was my first donation. I must admit that I felt additional pressure to donate as I was attending the Sydney meetup a couple of days later and could not attend with my douchebag status, requesting a de-douching at your earliest convenience. So I emailed him back. I said, we don't read anything under $50, and you came in at $34. So I thought that because it's Australian dollary dues, that it's automatically translated one for one. I said, well, that's really only for executive and associate executive producers, but just think logically, if it comes in at 34, I'm never even going to see that. I may read your donations because I look through the list, but that's never going to pop above 50.
But you can, if you're doing accounting for knighthood, you can credit it.
You can credit,
but it doesn't show up on the spreadsheet that way. It's never going to.
Let me de-douche him though.
You've been de-douched.
So that's just my point. Is that we have to reiterate it. Yeah, we have to keep telling people. That's all right. What else do we do? We're podcasters. Might as well.
Just keep reiterating it. Adam Schiff is a douchebag.
Yes,
we can keep doing that. Sir Arthur Gobetz.
Hey, yes.
Guess where? Zaandam.
Now, wait. He sent me a special note. Adam, after making my birthday donation yesterday, which I think is what you're looking at now, right?
Yeah, 12/12, yeah.
Yes. My mom phoned me with the news my dad was taken to the hospital the day before. We still don't know exactly what's wrong, but being 80 makes the doctors cautious. Hope he's back home soon. Please give him a health goat karma. Seems to be the right sort for living in rural Groningen. Regards, Baron, Sir Hugger of Kitties, Protector of Groningen. And of course we're going to do that. Of course.
You've got karma.
So now he's not listed on the birthdays because he never mentioned the word birthday in his note.
Yeah, okay, so 7 times, so what is he? Turns 49?
He started my 50th trip. He turns 50.
Oh, okay.
On 12/12, which is, guess what?
I'm going to put her in.
And you don't have to guess, but it's today.
Right, Baron Sir Arthur Gobetz, Hugger of Kitty's 50 today. Okay. So we solved a lot with that. Good meeting, John.
Thank you.
Good meeting.
This is one of the rare meetings which is agendaless.
But there will be notes. Someone's going to follow
a summary
of the meeting.
Go to the board for approval after it's cleared by the lawyers.
Okay.
Kevin Silverman in Severn, Maryland. 12121. Another birthday boy. We got a lot of birthdays. We had no birthdays on the last show, if I'm not mistaken.
And now we have 0 nights and titles, just birthdays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the Cyberstrike guy.
Oh.
ITM, I hope this won't be too long. The donation marks 2 years of listening to the best podcast in the universe and 1 year of monthly donations. I blew my night status earlier this year, but I'm too lazy to stop the $20-month layaway program. Excuse me.
Wait a minute.
So I guess you'll mention me twice today. Anyway, thank you for your continued analysis and witty banter. And he's got his birthday. He says, my band Cyberstrike also has a show that day in Baltimore. So if anyone likes good heavy metal, look up The Depot.
Oh.
We also have a big show near Miami Beach on January 5th, so please send some music karma our way. We'll put that at the end. Thanks, no jingles. Sincerely, you don't get jingles, as we mentioned. Sincerely, Sir Silverside of the Silver Dolphins.
So his band is named Cyberstrike? That sounds oddly familiar.
Yeah, didn't he do the song for us? That interesting song that I can't remember the title, but it was like a good hard metal, 80s style metals or punk. No, he's a metal band, so it wouldn't be punk. This is a different band that did punk. No, this is a metal band. He wouldn't do punk.
No, I don't remember.
Okay, well, Christoph Pythud comes up on the next cell. $111.11 in Buckeye, Arizona. Tim Lang in San Francisco. $100. He's wondering weight loss karma. We'll put that at the end. And he put 10 kilograms. What's the guy in San Francisco using kilograms as weight?
Well, he says, indulging in the delicious cuisine out here in Gitmo Nation, Stinky Dory in Singapore. He's in Singapore.
Oh, he's in Singapore.
He says, one question I was wondering if your on-air quarreling is staged to increase donations. I always feel like donating when Papa John and Papa Adam are grousing at each other.
Really? Because of this Adam jerk?
Yeah, it's so... Here's a little secret. Every single time we've tried to rehearse something, script something, set something up, it's a massive failure. We are incompetent.
We're good at ad-libbing, though.
No, that's real. And people
do it live.
Yeah, people don't like that. I'm like, that's the whole point of our show. We don't talk outside. We don't talk about anything outside of the show. Everything's on the show. All of it.
Yeah.
Including the dirty underwear.
I don't know about that.
Well, the dirty laundry. No, yeah. If that was our business model, it's pretty sad. Hey, I know, man. Let's argue. That gets people to donate. Exit strategy.
The arguments are spontaneous. It's usually Adam grousing about some clip.
It's usually John being a dick about something.
Not very rarely. Norman Tarr, meanwhile, in Beverly, Massachusetts, comes in with $100. We have a bunch of $100 donors, including Sir Media Filter, Andrew Newton, Gerald Preston, and Rob Van Dyke in Holland. They're all $100 donors. Sir Chris, meanwhile, 8873 in Arlington, Virginia. Sir Kaz.
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt, but Sir Chris, our knight, Karma, says, I'm in Fairfax Hospital loading up on Sotalol in prep for another cardio version to return to sinus rhythm from AFib. I want this CV to take and stick. To producers, please send me thoughts and prayer, love and light, and such. The show has been gangbusters lately. I'm going to do it for maybe the goat will help. That CV stuff is no good.
You've got Karma.
He's on No Agenda Social and
out like a light.
It sucks. It's a horrible thing he's got there. So, all right, and it's my hospital. It's where I was born. Oh no, he's Fairfax. Sorry, I was born in Arlington Hospital
in Virginia.
Arlington, Virginia. Yeah.
Huh. Is that anywhere near Langley?
Yeah, that's where they implanted me, obviously.
Sir Kaz comes up at 8421, and he's in Denmark.
Yep.
London Kew Gardens, actually. He's in Kew Gardens, but it says Denmark.
Oh, he says emptying out the old PayPal account.
Yes, people should empty out their PayPal account.
Yes, into ours.
Yeah, because we'll put it to good use.
We will put it to good use.
Alexander Solzberger, 8008 in Deutschland. Joseph Whiteshaw in Miami, Florida. Came in with 7777. I have a note from him if you want to just hold on 1 second.
Yeah, I'll hold on. In fact,
I'll over. But you don't have to, that's good. I'm a douchebag no more, he says. Almost a year ago, I was introduced to your show by my godson, James. Since then, I've enjoyed countless hours of your podcast.
Excellent.
I can no longer, in good conscience, remain in the stands with the other douchebags that are listening and not giving. Here's my first check, a 77.77, just like sevens. I just like them. Kindly de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
Once Karma put that in the end. And by the way, his name is Joe White, W-Y-C-H-E. And he says, if it matters, my last name is pronounced Whiteshaw.
Whiteshaw.
Like the ex-football coach. Which
of course, I remember.
But I always thought, well, I did, actually. I think he was one of the coaches at Cincinnati and other places. But I always thought that the sportscasters always called him Weish.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, well, I do. But now I'm confused. Matthew Mongan, $69. Mark Tanner, a buddy in Whittier, California. Baron, Sir Mark Tanner, 6789. Donald Richards, 60. Chris Grimal, I guess, in Kingston, New York.
Yeah, looks right. Grimal.
He says the show is absolutely the best podcast in the universe.
Thank you.
I think. Sir Code Monkey, 60. Jim Buell in Spring Hill, Tennessee, 60. These are all 12-12. This is from Celebrate 12-12.
Got it.
And how we got to 60, it's 5 times 12. Jeffrey Jacks, 60. William Alston, 60. Andrew Terry, 60. That's not a big group, but it's a group. Aaron Newberry, 5533.
Wait. See, an Andrew Terry who had a douchebag request.
Oh, sorry.
Please call LaFod out as a douchebag. Well, of course. Douchebag. I'll sprinkle some karma on you and Adam. No, don't put that at the end. I'll sprinkle that later.
Aaron Newberry, 5533. Anthony Rodriguez in Tucson, Arizona.
And Anthony says, thanks again both for positive influence. Gave broken laptop to 12-year-old daughter, Adam's advice, installed Mint 19, and it was a bonding moment. John's advice. Easy setup made it fun, and now we have GIMP. That kid can be president of the United States.
GIMP.
But you should just give the kid the laptop and say install Mint. But you did it together. I like that. Beautiful.
No, it's better. You can do it together.
Yeah,
she can do the upgrades.
And sudo apt get upgrade. I bet it was. I'm very. Keep us informed, Anthony. I want to know how she progresses. If she keeps to use it. If she does stuff. If she. Yeah. Thank you for taking our advice. We have.
She'll be a whiz.
Yes, she will.
Because once you get Linux, you can do the rest of the stuff easier.
Once you can do Linux, you can fly a rocket ship to the moon.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, if you get that good. Although that particular, that Mint 19 full install of all the extra apps is pretty complete.
It's pretty complete, yeah.
Dave Stickler in Wallingford, Connecticut. He's got a birthday. We got him on here. 5150. He had a note too. It wasn't a big one.
While you look for it, he has a request.
I got it right here.
De-douching.
You've been de-douched.
I'm just jumping the gun on the douche. De-douching.
He says I needed de-douching. Got hit in the mouth years ago by my two brothers. I said, why would I want to listen to a podcast of a former VJ? I used to watch a former VJ I used to watch in junior high, and a computer guy I've never heard of.
Well, that's marketing, isn't it?
How we've fallen. So I started listening last January on the Arizona road trip with my brother, Rob, who I'd like to call out as a douchebag. Douchebag. Thanks again for the best podcast in the universe. Well, that's the thanks that his brother got for introducing him to the show with the who knows who old VJ and
I know, it's so horrible.
Dumb columnist. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You can't do anything. No, you just do the best you can.
Yeah, yes.
You know what? We rely on doing good work.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Let me change it. Good works.
Good works.
Good works.
Anyways.
Anywho, onward. Brian Burgess, Pelican Beach, 5033. That's in Minnesota Nuts.
Pelican
Following
Rapids.
people are $50 donors, name and location if applicable. Kevin Silverman in Severn, Maryland.
That's his second one. Yeah, he came in earlier. Okay, that's his.
Yeah, he's got a double.
Yep.
Robert Kerbeck in Essexville, Michigan. Andre Klaus. Robert Eichelboom in London, UK.
Mm-hmm.
Roy Tenhava in Pijnacker.
Mm-hmm.
Sean, that's Netherlands. Sean McKean. He wants it's true sometime along the line. Robert Decaney in Fairfax, Virginia. Rusin Touchkoff.
Yeah, I think I meant it. I think he's a Russian spy. He's at the meetup. Yeah.
Oh, well, they had every meetup, by the way. We said this before. I'm going to just reiterate. Pretty much, if it's you and your next door neighbor, probably not. But generally speaking, most meetups have one spook.
Yeah.
To keep tabs on this underground network.
Yeah.
And you can spot them. It's easy to do.
And
actually get them into a conversation because they have funny things to say.
They have good things to say. They're very cool.
Yeah. Kimberly Redmond in Toronto, Ontario. Jonathan Ferris in Liberal, Kansas. Drew Mochuk in El Cerrito, down the street from me, actually. Mm-hmm. Phil Dunn in Newport Beach, California. Jeffrey Zinneman in South Euclid, Ohio. I kind of like the gravel in my voice.
Yeah, it's sexy.
Stephen Kirkpatrick in Langley, Washington. And last but not least, Jason DeLuzio in Chatsford, Pennsylvania. I want to thank all these folks for being the producers for the show 1198. We got another show 1199 coming up on Sunday.
Yeah, that'll be it's just one more until the big 1200 shows. Again, this is the longest job I've ever held down. Has been this one. Well, thank you to our producers and once again to our executive producers and associate executive producers. It's highly appreciated what you do here. And thank you to everybody who came in under $50. You're on those programs. We must have gotten some 1212s because that was part of the promotion for today, wasn't it?
Yes, that was the low end of the spectrum for promotions. And we did get quite a few. 12, yeah, we have 96 to 96, 1 to 14, about 20.
Well, I would thank you, but you can really thank yourself because it's your podcast and you're producing it and you should be mighty proud of it. We may not be an award winner anymore. Did you see who won? Awards are so fake. Let me see if I still have that.
We've discussed that in detail.
I wanted to share this one. This is CNBC, yes. Kara Swisher, who has been awarded Podcast of the Year by Adweek magazine. But listen to this little back and forth.
Your podcast, Recode Decode, named Adweek's.
Okay, that's unlistenable. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. Could you even hear any of that?
From the podcast?
Here's the karmas as requested and some job and health for
jobs,
you.
Jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
And remember us for Sunday show at
Dvorak.org/NA.
It's your birthday. Oh, no,
I've got a couple of belated birthdays to start off with. We have Circumvent says happy birthday to his daughter Christina. She turned 26 on December 10th. Dave Stickler celebrated on the 8th of December. Alex Perkins is celebrated yesterday. And looking forward, Kevin Silverman has his birthday on the 14th. Sir Finch says happy birthday to his sister-in-law Nicole. She'll be celebrating on the 19th. That'll be our show number 1200. Francis Albert Sinatra would have celebrated his birthday today. Thank you, Darren O, for pointing that out. And finally, Baron Sir Arthur Gobitz, hugger of kitties, turns 50 years old today. We say happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe. And what do we have? Oh, I think we should do shouldn't we do a quick meetup overview?
No agenda meetup.
It's like a party. Because we got a meetup taking place today, Myrtle Beach. It's the Christmas meetup at 7 o'clock. That'll be at the venue in Myrtle. Look for Heads on Sticks. Meet at venue. Okay, Rusty Jones. Go to noagendameetups.com so you can find out exactly where to be. Saturday, we have the No Agenda Central Texas Sheet Up. That's the new name. It's the Meat Shoot Up, but it's the Sheet Up. The official Black Baronet of the No Agenda Armory invites you to the first ever No Agenda Meat Shoot. This event will be a day-long event held at the Lone Star Gun Range outside of Lockhart, Texas. Come rain, snow, or shine. And I'm going to be there. I'm going with Sir Gene, and I'm bringing some of my stuff, but Gene's got the hardware, ladies and gentlemen. Be on the lookout for Sir Gene, the Duke. Earl, what is he? Isn't he the Sheriff de Marriott? Duke? He's
the sheriff.
No, yeah, he's an Earl or Duke by now. He's
something else. Yeah, I think he pushes the. I think it's Earl.
So Gene came over Friday. He had promised that he would cook for us. Oh my God! So he shows up. He backs his truck up to the front door. He's wearing a chef's outfit, John. Right down to the black Crocs. I mean, he's got the whole thing, the whole look. He's got the chef's garb on and everything. I have to say, Sir Gene can cook, man.
When he cooked?
Okay, it was 4-course meal, which he had told us about, which is a lot. There's a lot of food. It was butternut squash soup, which he had first air fried the squash with the onions and the carrots, and then he put them in the Instapot, and then he put it into the soup and put pieces of goat cheese melted in there. That was fantastic. Then he had a pork loin rolled up with walnuts and cranberries. Then a filet mignon, followed by homemade right there. He brought the ice cream maker, hemp ice cream.
Oh, really?
The whole meal was dynamite. Now, we started eating, he came at like 6:30. We didn't finish eating until 11. It was insane. Anyway, come and meet Sir Gene at the Sheet Up. I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be a fun one. It's been a while since we've just gone. And apparently this gun range is, they're not like, they're safe, but you can just shoot shit up. So
that's the good gun range. Usually the private ones let you do that. You can take your old TV, and put it out there and just blow it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or somebody's book, a friend of yours you don't like, put his book there and shoot holes in it. I've shot holes in your book.
I think I should take some of my old phones.
Old phones are fun to shoot.
That should be fun to shoot. Yeah, shoot those up. Little tannerite. All right, Saturday, the Eastern North Carolina Shills. That'll be 6:30 Eastern, and that is at the Cleveland Draft House in Garner, North Carolina. No Agenda Central Florida bi-monthly meetup number 3. That'll be at the Deadly Sins Brewing in Winter Park, also on Saturday. And then for next Thursday, I'll just shoot ahead for that, the Charleston, South Carolina Holiday Time meetup at 5:30, and that'll be at Edmonds Cask Brewing Company. Dame Jennifer Buchanan will be hosting that, well known from Animated No Agenda. So go say hi to her and tell her how fantastic she is. And thanks everybody. And that's it. I don't have any more. I have no nights. I've got no title changes. That's where we're at. Let me see. Did I have? No, I'm sure we have some clips to leave the show with.
Well, I've got quite a bit, but I'm going to tease one for the next show.
Okay.
Mainly because it's really I have the one Miss Universe clip I took.
Oh, yes.
I might get a couple more, but this was the one from the winner, her question and answer, and it had to do with climate change. It was bogus. And Harvey...
he rolled his eyes. I saw this one.
He rolled his eyes when he asked they should fire him for that. Or actually what they should fire him for was his outfit. He looked like a master of ceremonies.
That was fireable.
Barnum and Bailey. I don't know where he got that from. I guess after the circus folded, he went to the auction.
No, man, Trump doesn't produce this thing anymore, so now it's idiots who are doing it. You know exactly what's happening.
When Trump was doing it, it was much better.
Yeah.
And he had his better sense of these things than these guys did.
Yeah.
I noticed that... well, I got one clip that I can play. It's a pretty good way to leave off. This is Glenn Beck. And he brought this guy on, Jeff Brown, and apparently somebody made and I'm not buying any of it because I'm not a big believer in quantum computing or the fact that anyone can get it to actually do anything. And I've talked to people that have reported on this technology for years, and I can't find one of them that doesn't think the whole thing is fishy. But this guy, Jeff Brown's all in. And so he comes on and he starts talking about how long is this clip?
147.
Yeah, he comes on, and then Beck asks something that most interviewers would not ask. They would just let this guy ramble. But Beck asks a question at the end that, to me, was like, yeah, that's a question.
And right now, that computer it was actually partially built by IBM, and it's one of the Department of Energy's national laboratories, and it's capable of something called 200 petaflops per second, which is just imagine football field sized data centers full of racks and racks of very powerful computers and servers, and the job is simply just to compute the most complex problems known to man. That's what that was designed for. And one
football field size.
Okay. So you connect all of these systems together, and they're one large, massive supercomputer. And